Chapter 3108. 2 days. Luli had been chasing after him for 2 days. The vampire race master's escaping skills were impressive. Luli was confused by him, going from east to west. If it weren't for the fact that the sacred mountain was fast, the vampire race master would have escaped. Luli had made up his mind. He would not stop until he killed the master of the blood race. Whoosh! The master of the blood race was filled with fear. He flew on at full speed, trying to sense any fluctuations in space behind him. Once he sensed something, he would release blood escape at once. Otherwise, he would die a miserable death if Luli caught up with him. He was filled with regret, anger, and hatred. He hated the grandson of Chief Patriarch. He was sent here to buy some elixirs. How could he cause such a scene? Did he think they were still the blood race of the fourth heaven? The blood race had lost its former glory. They had less than 1/10 of their strength. The master of the blood race hated Luli as well. Luli had killed so many powerful warriors of the blood race, and he had been chasing after him for such a long time. The master of the blood race knew very well that once he died, his branch would be doomed. There were branches of the blood race in other places, and his branch was not the strongest. That being said, the blood race as a whole would be weakened when this branch was gone. Xingyao City. All of a sudden, he saw a big city in front of him. His pupils contracted, and then he rushed over in joy. There was a Saint Emperor in the Xingyao City, a very powerful one at that. Luli wouldn't dare to make a move in the city. The master of the blood race flew toward the city quickly. Luli used psychic power to check and found that the master of the blood race had just entered the city. Luli was hesitating, but soon he flew out. He changed his appearance to that of a regular warrior. He was at the sixth tribulation realm as well. Then he dashed into the city. The master of the blood race had entered the city. There was an army outside the city. Anyone could go in after paying celestial stones. Luli took out some celestial stones and threw them over. A team leader handed over a token with a smile. Luli had given too much. There were many warriors in the city. People were coming and going. Luli disappeared into the crowd. The master of the blood race was gone as well. But Luli and the master of the blood race knew each other. They could sense each other and had been dealing with each other. Luli smiled gently. He walked into an alley and then disappeared. After a while, Luli came out from another alley. He had become a warrior of another race. Gone. The master of the blood race stood in the middle of the street with a solemn look on his face. Luli had disappeared, which meant that Luli could come back to him at any time. Luli's attacks were sharp. If Luli sneak attacked him and killed him, he would be long gone by the time the old demons in the city realized what was going on. Luli kept moving closer to the master of the blood race, and he changed his appearance on the way. With so many races walking on the street, the master of the blood race could not find Luli. 10,000 zhong, 15,000 zhong, 30,000 zhong. Finally, the master of the blood race noticed Luli. Sensing the killing intent from Luli, he was sweating in fear. If he had reacted any slower, Luli would have gotten close to him. By then, he wouldn't even know how he died. Xiao, the master of the blood race, didn't dare to stay any longer. He flew up and used blood escape to disappear into the void. Luli sighed with regret. If he could be 2 miles closer, he would be confident that he could kill the master of the blood race. Whoosh! Luli flew up as well. But the escorts in the city came to their senses. They didn't realize that the master of the blood race had flown away. How dare Luli fly up? The only way in and out of the city was through the city gate. How dare you? Take him down. Lawless. Do you think the Xingyao City is your home where you can fly around? Take him down. Teams of escorts flew over, trying to surround Luli. Luli pulled a long face and released Soul of Wind. The escorts all rolled around in midair with their hands over their heads. At the same time, he emitted a strong chi and energy that was stronger than the middle stage of the Saint King realm. Not only could the Master of Transfiguration change his appearance, but he could also imitate the chi and energy of any race. Since Luli could suppress his chi and energy to the 4th or 5th stage, he could imitate the chi and energy of a Saint King as well. Piss off! Luli shouted and flew up again. One of the warriors in the city was about to make a move, but stopped when he sensed Luli's chi and energy. After all, Luli didn't cause any damage in the city, and he was leaving soon. Whoosh! Luli flew up, took out the holy mountain, and flew away in a blur. That speed caused the countless soldiers in the city to look at each other in dismay. This also made the old devil secretly rejoice. This was indeed a peerless old devil. Fortunately, he didn't act recklessly. Otherwise, this city would have been destroyed. The Chaotic Star region was a chaotic place. Warriors were everywhere. Even Saint Kings had to tread carefully here. Nobody could tell if a warrior that popped out of nowhere was a peerless warrior. Luli went on and soon caught up with the master of the blood race. The reason was that the master of the blood race had a strange chi and energy. There was a faint smell of blood. Plus, the holy mountain was fast. Luli could catch up with him easily. Not again. The master of the blood race looked at the holy mountain coming at him with a bitter expression. At this rate, he would die sooner or later. The master of the blood race would consume his essence blood to release the blood escape. How could he have so much? He tried to come up with a solution. Eventually, a glint came to his eyes. He thought of a powerful warrior. That powerful warrior was on good terms with the blood race. If he went to the powerful warrior, maybe the warrior would help him. Of course, the premise was that the blood race would listen to his orders from now on. The warrior had said that if the blood race submitted to him, he could guarantee the safety of the blood race in this world. The blood race used to be a super race. How could they be willing to be an appendage? Therefore, the master of the blood race never agreed. Now that they were in a hopeless situation, the master of the blood race had no other choice. Mount Hanyang, that was where the warrior lived. He was a well-known warrior in this world. He was at the middle stage of Saint King realm and was a powerful warrior in this area. Of course, that was only on the surface. There was no telling if there was a powerful warrior hiding there. Mount Hanyang was not far away. It would take him more than a day to fly at full speed. Of course, it might take him 2 days. To run away from Luli for 2 days would cost him a lot of essence blood. But what was the use of essence blood when he was dead? The master of the blood race made up his mind and flew toward Mount Hanyang as fast as he could. Luli was hot on his trail. Luli felt like a cat playing with a mouse. He wanted to see how many more times this master of the blood race could use the secret skill. 2 days later, the master of the blood race had arrived at Mount Hanyang. His face was paler than blood, and his chi and energy were weaker. The continuous use of a secret skill had weakened him to the extreme. He saw Mount Hanyang in the distance and felt the holy mountain coming from behind. He screamed, "Dancing Ghost Ancestor, help, help." Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leader's Mobile Version. Chapter 3109. Ghostly Dancer. Luli was taken aback. Was it a powerful warrior of the blood race? But according to Guan Yang's information, there was no Saint King among the blood race. It must be an old demon that was on good terms with the master of the blood race. Yes, that is it. Luli nodded. If it was a powerful warrior of the blood race, the master of the blood race wouldn't shout like this. He would send a message in a special way. Luli had been chasing after the master of the blood race for a long time. If it were a powerful warrior of the blood race, he would have been here by now. Since it was not a powerful warrior of the blood race, Luli was not worried. He must kill the master of the blood race. He wanted to find out how powerful this old demon was. If he was too powerful, then he would leave. If not, then he would find a way to kill the master of the blood race and then leave. Who was making noise? A cold voice came. Then a powerful warrior's psychic power came. Luli changed his appearance at once. He looked like a warrior of a nearby race, and his chi and energy were gone. Blood Sky Moon. That old demon used psychic power to check. He flew up and stood in midair. He threw a glance to the master of the blood race, and then to the holy mountain. Luli dashed out and put away the holy mountain. He put his hands behind his back and looked at the old demon and the master of the blood race coldly. He squinted at the old demon with arrogance. The master of the blood race flew to the old demon, cupped his fists, and said, "Forefather, please save me. From now on, we will follow your lead." The ghostly dancer was as thin as a toothpick. He had horns on his head and a big head. He didn't pay attention to the master of the blood race. Instead, he looked at Luli. He could not sense Luli's chi and energy, but he recognized Luli. Luli was disguised as a warrior of the Dun race, a major race nearby. The ghostly dancer could not sense Luli's chi and energy. Luli seemed to be looking down on the ghostly dancer. The more powerful a warrior was, the more arrogant they would be. If it were some average warriors, they would have been trembling in fear. How could Luli be so arrogant? The master of the blood race was at the peak of the great emperor realm, and he was proficient in several powerful skills. As far as Ghost Dancer was concerned, Luli must be a saint emperor, since Luli could hunt him down like this. Luli was a saint emperor, and he was a powerful warrior from a major family. Combining these three factors, Ghost Dancer believed Luli to be a powerful warrior. It wasn't worth it to offend a supreme expert for the sake of the blood race. The dancing ghost ancestor pondered for a moment before asking, "May I know who you are?" "This Xue Tianyue is the descendant of my old friend. Why are you chasing after him?" "Humph." The dancing ghost ancestor did not attack. Instead, he spoke in a calm tone, which reassured Luli. This old man should be at the middle stage of the Saint Emperor realm, similar to sacred ancestor Tian. If he used the purple divine liquid, there should be hope of sealing his soul. As long as his soul could be sealed, it would be easy to poison him to death. Therefore, Luli was not afraid. There was not a trace of human emotion in his eyes. He snorted and said, "Gui Wu, right? I've heard of you. It's best if you don't interfere in this matter. It's not easy to cultivate, and I don't want to destroy you. You know the consequences of offending my clan." Gui race. The master of the blood race frowned and shouted, "Forefather, don't believe him. He is proficient in disguise. He is not of the Gui race. What is more, the Gui race has a special skill called Heaven's Roar. Why don't you let him do it?" Heaven's Roar was a special skill of the Gui race. A powerful one of the Gui race could crack the sky and shatter a warrior's soul. Everyone nearby knew about this. The master of the blood race believed that Luli was not of the Gui race. Otherwise, he and Chief Patriarch wouldn't have dared to do anything when Luli had revealed his identity. The dancing ghost ancestor nodded and said, "Yes. If you are of the Gui race, then use the Heaven's Roar. As long as you are able to release it, this old ancestor will not interfere in this matter." Luli showed no emotion, but he was troubled. He had disguised himself as a member of a random race. How could he know such a skill? He knew nothing about the Heaven's Roar. He was hesitating. Should he use the only purple divine liquid he had left? What if he still could not kill the dancing ghost ancestor? By then, he would have to run for his life. "Ha ha!" Luli sneered and said, "Dancing ghost, are you sure you want me to use it? Once I do, you will become an enemy of our race, and we will fight to the death." The dancing ghost ancestor was hesitating as well. He had been at the mountain of Hanyang for many years. This was a mountain that produced elixirs. One of the elixirs was about to mature. If Luli was of the Gui race, then the dancing ghost ancestor would have to leave this universe and find another place to cultivate. The kindred clan leader became anxious seeing that the dancing ghost ancestor was silent. He bowed and said, "Ancestor, I swear on my life that this person is absolutely not a Gui. Moreover, he chased me for 4 days. If he was a Gui expert, how could I still be alive?" The dancing ghost ancestor was surprised. It was not because of what the master of the blood race said, but the fact that Luli had been hunting him for 4 days. The master of the blood race was nothing special to him. He could kill him at any time. How come Luli was still alive after 4 days? What did it mean? It meant that Luli was not powerful. Also, Luli was of the Gui race. How could he go after the master of the blood race by himself? There were more than a dozen saint kings of the Gui race. The dancing ghost ancestor made up his mind. He shouted, "Sir, please use the Heaven's Roar. If you're of the Gui race, I will not interfere. Otherwise, I will protect Xue Tianyue." You asked for it. Luli had no other choice. He had to fight, or else he would have to leave this universe. The master of the blood race would spread the news about him. The dancing ghost ancestor would not give up on hunting him down. At the very least, he could not stay at the Qinyanshan anymore. Die. He opened his mouth and let out a roar. He had used Dragon's Roar. It was so loud that it could shake the mountains and rivers. Even though it would not cause harm to the enemy, it was still frightening. Eh. The dancing ghost ancestor and the master of the blood race felt their eardrums hurt. They saw that the space in front of Lu Li trembled and rippled. The dancing ghost ancestor and the master of the blood race were taken aback. They thought Lu Li was a real, powerful Gue race warrior. Buzzing, Lu Li used the last drop of purple divine liquid. His soul was strengthened hundreds of times. 2 rays of light shot out from his eyes and went into the dancing ghost ancestor's body. What? The haunted house's forefather was shocked. He felt the world in front of him darkened. He lost contact with the outside world. He could not even control his own body. Swish, the halberd of Emperor Yong appeared in Lu Li's hand, and he swung it forward. This move contained the most powerful drop of dark red poison. Since he had made up his mind, he would not hold back. If he did not kill this old asshole, there would be endless troubles in the future. Buzzing, the dancing ghost ancestor suddenly opened his eyes when the halberd ray reached him. The formation only trapped him for the time, for 1 breath. However, 1 breath's worth of time was enough because Lu Li's halberd light had already struck him. That drop of dark red poisonous liquid had already entered his body. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect, Leader's Mobile Version. Chapter 3110. This was Lu Li's strongest drop of venom. If it could not kill the ghostly dancer, then it would be troublesome. The ghost dancer ancestor let out a heart-wrenching scream. His chest began to turn into a pool of blood, and his flesh rapidly melted away. A look of fear appeared in his eyes as he madly circulated the source energy in his body, trying to force the poison out. However, the venom was corroding his body so fast that the ghostly dancer could not stand it. In the blink of an eye, his body was gone. Right at that moment, the ghostly dancer did something that shocked Lu Li and the master of the blood race. His hands glowed with source energy as he reached for the ghostly dancer's neck. Boom! The ghostly dancer's neck was crushed. His head flew away to the distance. In the blink of an eye, the ghostly dancer disappeared into the horizon. It was so fast that Lu Li didn't even have time to react. You can do that. Lu Li was dumbfounded. How can man be so cruel? He twisted his head off, abandoned his body, and controlled his head to fly away. But it was understandable. This was the smartest move of the ghostly dancer. This was the only way to save his life. If the ghostly dancer had reacted a bit slower, he would have been a skeleton by now. At this level, as long as the soul was still intact, it was not difficult to rebuild the body. Therefore, to keep the head was to save his life. The body was gone, the pellets were gone, and the cultivation was gone. Apart from soul attacks, there was nothing left. Of course, as long as the ghostly dancer was alive, his cultivation could be recovered after the body was rebuilt. The pellets could be cultivated again, and the realm of Dharma could be rebuilt. Lu Li didn't go after the ghostly dancer. Even if the ghostly dancer could survive, it would take him decades to rebuild his body and recover his cultivation. By then, Lu Li would be long gone from the chaotic star region. The master of the blood race was dumbfounded. He noticed that Lu Li was staring at him emotionlessly, like a powerful beast. Even the ghostly dancer old ancestor had been severely injured in an instant and had his cultivation crippled. How could he possibly escape with his meager strength? Lu Li was so close to him that it was too late for the master of the blood race to release blood escape. The kindred king rolled his eyes and suddenly knelt on the ground. He shouted in a deep voice, "My lord, please spare my life. From now on, the kindred will become your vassal. We will do whatever you want us to do." Since he had already defected to the dancing ghost ancestor, the Blood Clan leader had already put down his pride and abandoned the glory of the Blood Clan. Surrendering to the ghostly dancer was no different from surrendering to Lu Li. "If I asked you to die, would you die?" Lu Li said coldly. As far as he was concerned, the master of the blood race must be killed. He was not going to dominate this universe. Why would he need so many warriors? Lu Li swung his halberd of Emperor Yong. The halberd of Emperor Yong was one of the most powerful holy weapons with the laws of space and time. Even though Lu Li could not unleash the full power of the weapon, It was enough to deal with masters of the blood race. More importantly, Lu Li's main attack was not the halberd of Emperor Yong, but the poisonous liquid mixed in with the halberd light. As soon as the halberd light was released, the master of the blood race felt that time and space were in disorder. By the time he came to his senses, the halberd light had already reached him. He sensed a fatal danger. He knew he was about to die. Hatred rose in his eyes as he yelled, "How dare you kill me? You will make an enemy of the entire blood race of the Chaotic Star region. We are on the decline, but there are still 3 powerful forces in the Chaotic Star region. We have more than 10 Saint Emperors. I will engrave my blood mark in your body, and it will never fade away. Later, you will be hunted down by the powerful warriors of my blood race." Ha 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 ha. Buzzing, the master of the blood race's eyes glowed in red, which formed a huge word in blood in midair. Then, the word in blood disappeared into Lu Li's body. At the same time, the master of the blood race's body was being corroded by the poisonous liquid. He let out miserable cries as his body turned into bones. He did not have a skill as powerful as the dancing ghost ancestor. Even if he could twist his head off, he would still die. He did not have the speed to fly. Boom! The master of the blood race's body fell to the ground. Lu Li did not even look at it. He closed his eyes and began to inspect his body. That huge blood word had disappeared. It had turned into strands of blood and disappeared into Lu Li's body. They had integrated with his blood, bones, and flesh. A moment later, Lu Li shook his head. The blood mark would not do him any harm, but he could not get rid of it. The energy had integrated with his blood, bones, and flesh. Unless he changed his identity, he could not dissolve the energy. I will go back and ask Guan Yang and the others. Lu Li put away the interspatial ring of the master of the blood race. On second thought, he asked Blood Fairy to check Mao Hongyang. This was the base camp of the dancing ghost ancestor. There might be some treasures. Master, there are some elixirs and materials. A moment later, Blood Fairy sent a message. Lu Li went into Mount Hongyang and found several secret rooms where materials were stored. A smile bloomed on Lu Li's face as he took a look. The dancing ghost ancestor had placed many materials in the secret rooms, but did not put them into the interspatial ring. Lu Li was lucky. In a hall, Lu Li saw a furnace. He finally understood that the dancing ghost ancestor was an artificer. The storage of the materials was for the convenience of forging artifacts. He walked outside and found a few medicinal fields. There were mysterious formations here that were used to nurture divine medicines. There were hundreds of elixirs of good quality. Lu Li took them all without hesitation. Master, there's a very powerful elixir over there, but it is not mature yet. Blood Fairy said. Under her guidance, Lu Li found a spring. At the mouth of the spring, he found a crystal-clear elixir. The elixir was translucent. Lu Li could see the blood vessels in it. When he came, the elixir was swaying from side to side, as if it was afraid. This is a high-level elixir. Lu Li did not have to appraise it. One look, and he could tell that the elixir was high-level. It was a pity that the 2 leaves of the elixir had just sprouted. Clearly, the elixir was not mature yet. He could not stay here. It would be a waste to pick the elixir now. If he did not pick it, would he leave it here? That would benefit others, right? Lu Li remembered that there was a tree in the holy mountain. Could he move the elixir to the pond as well? Lu Li asked Blood Fairy to decipher the runes. When the runes were done, the elixir dashed up, trying to run away. Lu Li grabbed the elixir and went into the holy mountain. Just as I thought, Lu Li picked the elixir and planted it by the pond. Without the runes, the elixir did not run away. It was as if the elixir had taken root by the pond and would not leave. Let's go. There were runes in the holy mountain. The elixir could not leave, even if it wanted to. Lu Li flew the holy mountain into the distance. He wanted to find a city and go back to Mount Xinyan. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 3111. Lu Li teleported back to the Mount Xinyan after more than 10 days. Guan Yang and the others were overjoyed. Lord, did you kill all the powerful warriors of the blood race? Guan Yang asked with concern. The other warriors of the blood race were nervous as well. If the blood race were still alive, then none of them would be safe. The blood race was very vengeful. All of them, Luli said coldly. Then he asked, "Do you know anything about the blood race?" What is a blood print? Blood print? Guan Yang's pupils contracted as he asked, "Lord, did you get a blood print?" But it's okay. All the powerful warriors of the blood race were killed. It doesn't matter. Luli said impatiently, "I am asking you what a blood print is." That is a tracking skill of the blood race. Seeing that Luli was upset, Guanyang explained, "Back in the days, the blood race was very powerful at the fourth heaven. Many other races were afraid of the blood race. Firstly, the blood race was indeed strong. Secondly, the blood race was very vengeful. Thirdly, the blood mark. As long as the blood mark was planted, the blood race would be able to sense it and track it. Once a blood print is planted, one will be hunted down by the blood race endlessly. Therefore, at the fourth heaven, only the super races and powerful warriors dare to provoke the blood race." "Is there a way to dissolve the blood print?" Luli asked. "Will the blood print do harm to warriors?" "No." Guanyang scratched his head and said, "It is said that to dissolve the blood print, one must be at the infinity realm, or else it will take decades. The blood print does not have any effect on warriors. I have never heard that it can kill warriors." "Oh." Lu Li's face darkened. He was troubled. The master of the blood race said that even though the blood race had declined, there were still several branches in the chaotic star region. The master of the blood race said that there were more than a dozen saint emperors in their branch. Luli thought about it and asked, "Do you know about the situation outside the Cyan Tiger region? Have you heard that the blood race has branches in other universes?" "Well, I don't know." Guanyang and the others looked at each other and explained, "My lord, we brothers have stayed in the Green Tiger realm for many years and have never left, so we're not very clear about the situation in the outside world. Go and scout." Luli took out 2 interspatial rings and said, "Here are some materials, treasures, and celestial stones. Go and sell them. Find out the situation of the blood race in the chaotic universe for me." With a blood seal planted in his body, his divine concealment technique would be useless. The blood race experts would be able to find him easily. At that time, he might not be able to stay in the chaotic star fields anymore. How many years had he been here? Who knew if the desolate race had set up traps outside the heavenly chaos star domain? Luli dared not to leave the chaotic star region. He sat cross-legged in the main hall, waiting for news. Half a month later, Guanyang and the others returned with accurate news. There were large merchant associations in the Green Tiger domain, and those merchant associations had branches in many domains. They would also sell information, and as long as one had enough celestial stones, it would be very easy to find out information. The news was not good. There were branches of the blood race, 14 in total. 3 of them were particularly powerful, and all had saint emperors. The other branches were much weaker. The most powerful one was only as strong as the blood race. That is to say, Luli murmured, if he wanted to stay in the chaotic universe in peace, then he must find a way to kill the saint emperors of the 3 branches. Otherwise, he could be assassinated at any time. No, I must find a way to exterminate the blood race. Luli suddenly thought of a problem. If the powerful warriors of the desolate race came here and found the blood race, they could use the blood race to hunt him down. In that case, Luli would not be able to escape. "Guanyang," Luli shouted, "I have killed all the blood race's great Emperor Realm warriors. Go to the blood race at once and kill all of them. Leave no one alive." "Yes." Guanyang and the others did not question Luli's order. What was more, they hated the blood race to the core. Without any hesitation, they rushed out with strong killing intent. The 3 blood race warriors at the peak of the great Emperor Realm were dead. Luli had killed dozens of blood races' great Emperor Realm warriors. Even if there were more blood races' great Emperor Realm warriors at the base camp, Guanyang wouldn't mind. He could kill them easily. Guanyang and the others were tough characters. Exterminating a race was not a burden for them. They had done it many times before. For them, exterminating the blood race was a must. Luli sat with his legs crossed in the hall. 2 hours later, he made up his mind. At first, he was not sure if he should leave the chaotic universe or not. But now, he believed that he could not leave. He would be in grave danger if he could not kill all of the blood race. The blood race was vengeful. Luli had asked Guanyang to exterminate this branch. If the powerful warriors of the blood race learned about this, they would hunt him down. Therefore, the hatred between him and the blood race could not be resolved. Either he died or the entire blood race would be wiped out. Luli's mind had changed. In the past, he still had some kindness. Now, killing all of the blood race was not a burden to him. Exterminate the blood race. Luli made up his mind. He had so much venom. As long as he could kill the Saint Kings of the blood race, it would be a piece of cake to kill all of the blood race. Luli stopped thinking after he made up his mind. He began to think about how to enhance his abilities to make sure that he could wipe out the entire blood race without fail. He did not have the purple divine liquid anymore. If he did, it would be easy to kill Saint Kings. There were 11 Saint Kings in total in the 3 branches of the blood race. Most of them were at the initial stage. All the powerful ones of the blood race had died at the 4th heaven. Those that could escape were not powerful. The most powerful one was a bit more powerful than the ghost dancer. Therefore, with the purple divine liquid, it would be easy for Lu Li to wipe out the blood race. Without the purple divine liquid, killing 11 Saint Kings would be difficult. Therefore, he must find a way to get some purple divine liquid. Where could he get the purple divine liquid? The purple divine liquid was refined by absorbing energy from the heaven pond. The heaven pond had not recovered yet. It was impossible to absorb energy from a pond. However, Luli saw a glimmer of hope when he learned that the Dharma realm could melt the toxic smog from the swamp of ancient poison. He could go to a strange place and look for liquids similar to the energy in the heaven pond. The chaotic star region was full of treasures. There must be a place like this. If he could get some liquids similar to the purple divine liquid, killing the blood race would be a piece of cake. I must look for other strange energies. If I can get some other liquids with special energy, I will be more confident. Luli said to himself. He told Blood Fairy to focus on repairing the sacred mountain. When the sacred mountain was repaired, at least he would be undefeatable. With the sacred mountain, at least he could run away when the Saint Kings of the blood race came. Let's wait for Guanyang and the others to come back. Take action again. Luli went underground to cultivate. The blood race was not far away. They should be back in a month or 2. By then, he could move on to the next step. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 31:12. 1.5 months later, Guanyang came back with several of his brothers. They knelt in front of Lu Li and kowtowed to him. Lu Li understood what they meant. They were thanking Lu Li for avenging them. If Lu Li hadn't killed the powerful warriors of the blood race, they would never have been able to get revenge. Now that all the blood race in the Cyan Tiger region had been killed, they had avenged their brothers. Guanyang and the others were warriors of a middle-level race. Their race used to be fine, but later on, it was wiped out. Only the 13 of them survived. Even though they were not blood brothers, they were closer than blood brothers. Naturally, they were furious that so many of them had died. Lu Li waved his hand indifferently and said, "Don't thank me. As a matter of fact, we have more enemies now that this branch of the blood race is gone. You have found out that there are more than a dozen branches of the blood race in the chaotic star region. You said that the blood race is the most protective. They will seek revenge. We will have a hard time in the future." Guanyang and the others were stunned. Then they felt bitter. Luli was right. According to their information, the blood race was the most vengeful. There were only so many of them in the chaotic star region. Now that one branch was wiped out, how could the other blood race not be angry? According to their information, there were 11 Saint King realm warriors of the blood race. Luli might be able to survive 3 or 5 of them, but they wouldn't be able to escape. "Lord, what do you think we should do?" Guanyang turned to Luli. Luli had been here for more than a month without leaving, which gave Guanyang a glimmer of hope. "That's easy." Luli stood up. He was filled with killing intent, as he said. "The simplest way is to kill all the blood race in the chaotic star region. Then we will be safe." "Kill all of them?" Guanyang and the others looked at each other, speechless. There were more than a dozen branches, hundreds of thousands of blood race, 11 Saint King realm warriors, and hundreds of Great Emperor realm warriors. Could they kill all of them? Guanyang reacted quickly. He bowed and said, I am willing to follow you and wipe out the blood race. I am willing to follow you and wipe out the blood race. Guanhe and the others came back to their senses and bowed as well. They had no other choice but to follow Lu Li to the end. They would either destroy the blood race or all of them would die without a burial site. Don't be so pessimistic. Lu Li glanced over them and said, You must have heard of the dancing ghost ancestor, right? Yes. Even though Guanyang didn't know why Lu Li mentioned the dancing ghost patriarch, he said with certainty, he is one of the most powerful warriors of the domains nearby. Some of the big families don't want to mess with him. Not long ago, with his hands clasped behind his back, Lu Li said, I chased after the master of the blood race. He ran to the mountain of Honyang and asked for help from the dancing ghost progenitor. In the end, the dancing ghost ancestor was seriously injured by me and had to flee. I estimate that it will take him several hundred years to recover his previous strength. Guanyang and the others were shocked, but soon they were overjoyed. Guanyang shouted, The Lord is mighty. With the Lord here, what is there to fear about the blood race's holy king? You can't say that. Lu Li waved his hand to stop Guanyang from flattering Lu Li. I need something. I need your help. If I can think of what I want, then wiping out the blood race will not be difficult. What do you need, Lord? Guanyang answered at once. As long as we can do it, we will not hesitate no matter how dangerous it is. Since they had decided to stick with Lu Li till the end, Guanyang didn't think too much. If they didn't follow Lu Li, they would all die. There was nothing to worry about. It's not that serious. Lu Li sat down and said, Monitor the entire Green Tiger region. Don't let the powerful warriors of the blood race come. Also, try to find some treasured lands. For example, a place with a large amount of divine liquid. The divine liquid can strengthen the body or have miraculous effects. It can even extend one's lifespan. Anyways, I want a pond of divine liquid and a large amount of it. I don't care which family or Asmodean is in control of it. Find out everything. This is the most important thing. Pond of divine liquid? Guanyang and the others looked at each other, but didn't ask further. Lu Li gave them 2 more interspatial rings containing many heaven stones and other materials. Guanyang and the others left at once to try to find out more information. Divine liquid was more important than anything else. Lu Li must find a way to absorb the divine liquid, so that he could produce divine liquid like purple divine liquid and enhance his abilities. Otherwise, given his current abilities, he would not be a match for Saint Emperors. Lu Li continued to cultivate underground. It had been more than half a month. Finally, Guanyang came back with some information. 3 ponds of divine liquid were found in the Green Lake region. 2 of them were occupied by major races, and the other one was occupied by an Asmodean. Moon Lake, Abyss of Fire, and Pond of Magic Tiger. The Moon Lake was controlled by one of the top 10 races in the Green Tiger region, the Guam race. This was a strange race, the only one in the entire Chaotic Star region. The population was small, only tens of thousands. But there were many powerful warriors, including at least 100 of the Imperial Realm and more than 10 Saint Emperors. The number of powerful warriors was more than all the blood race combined. The Guam race was low-key, but no other races or Asmodeans in the Green Tiger region would provoke them. It was said that the Moon Lake could absorb the energy of the moon. It was the holy land of the Gue race. Many disciples of the Gue race would cultivate in the Moon Lake. It was also the foundation for the Gue race to become stronger, just like how the Heaven Lake was the foundation of the demonic abyss. The Abyss of Fire was also the foundation of a major race, the Phoenix race. It was said that the entire Phoenix race was born in the Abyss of Fire. There were no males in the Phoenix race, only females. They were born in the fire. The Phoenix race was more powerful and ranked among the top 5 in the Green Tiger region. It was said that in the depths of the Abyss of Fire, there was a progenitor of the Phoenix race who was very close to the consummate level. The third one was the Pond of Magic Tiger, which was occupied by a famous Asmodean of the Green Tiger region. The Pond of Magic Tiger had mystical spring. That Asmodean could earn many celestial stones every year by selling the mystical spring. Many Asmodeans and major races tried to attack the Pond of Magic Tiger, but were defeated by the Asmodean with his divine pattern formations and strong abilities. It was said that the mystical spring could strengthen a warrior's soul, even better than regular soul nurturing pellets. The Asmodean was a powerful warrior in soul. It would be strange if his soul was weak after drinking the mystical spring. 3 treasured lands. Each of them had something special, which was what Luli had hoped for. Luli believed that at any of the treasured lands, as long as he could absorb energy for a period of time, the Dharma realm could refine some top-level liquid. The thing was, he could not afford to offend any of the 3 places. The Moon Lake was the sacred land of the Guam race. There must be a powerful saint emperor in charge. Disciples of the Guam race were cultivating in the Moon Lake. If Luli were to absorb energy, he would be discovered. The Abyss of Fire was even worse. Even if there were no powerful warriors close to the complete completion of the Abyss of Fire, Luli would be discovered as soon as he went in, and the Phoenix race would hunt him down. After much consideration, Luli realized that the only place he could go was the Pond of Magic Tiger. The Asmodean over there could build powerful divine patterns, but Blood Fairy could decipher them. Luli could sneak in, absorb energy from the mystical spring for a period of time, and then sneak away. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leader's Mobile Version. Chapter 31:13. The Pond of Magic Tiger was in the center of the Cyan Tiger region, some distance from Mount Chinyan. It would take more than half a month to teleport there. This place got its name because there was a mountain that looked like a divine tiger. The Pond of Magic Tiger was in the Mountain of Magic Tiger. This place had been occupied by many powerful warriors or major races. Originally, it was occupied by a major race. Later, this race declined and the current demon took over. Muishan. This was the nickname of this demon. Luli didn't know his real name, but he was famous around here. Even the Gue race didn't dare to provoke him. This demon was a powerful soul warrior and had an artifact. Many demons and major races had tried to attack the Pond of Magic Tiger, but were defeated by him. This old devil not only had a powerful soul, he was also proficient in setting up formations. After so many years, he had already set up countless powerful divine inscriptions arrays within the God Tiger pool. Ordinary Saint Emperors wouldn't even be able to break through these arrays if they wanted to. Luli stood at the foot of the Pond of Magic Tiger and looked at the huge mountain in the distance. It really did look like a roaring tiger. The tiger's head was especially vivid. The Pond of Magic Tiger was in the area where the tiger's head was. It was said that the Mountain of Magic Tiger had a powerful formation of heaven and earth that could absorb Reiki in a radius of millions of miles. After the Reiki was converted, a fountain of Reiki appeared. The fountain of Reiki was endless. Even though the amount was small, it accumulated and formed a pond. This was the origin of the Pond of Magic Tiger. The fountain of Reiki could enhance the soul and was more effective than regular elixirs. Therefore, Muishan had an inexhaustible supply of treasure by occupying the Pond of Magic Tiger. The fountain of Reiki was constantly producing celestial stones. After selling a large number of celestial stones, Muishan bought many rare formation stones to make the formation of Magic Tiger more powerful. For nearly 1,000 years, no powerful warriors or races dared to attack the Mountain of Magic Tiger. The real powerful warriors looked down on the Pond of Magic Tiger. Average warriors couldn't break the formation of Magic Tiger. The major races wouldn't dare to provoke Muishan. Years ago, there was a major race that attacked the Mountain of Magic Tiger. Muishan killed more than half of the race, and they were forced to migrate. Today, Luli came. His goal was not to occupy the Divine Tiger Mountain, but to obtain the Spirit's spring water. He needed to exterminate the entire blood race, which required some divine liquid. The Divine Tiger Pool was relatively the best place to obtain it. After circling around the mountain twice, Luli left quietly and went to a cave nearby. Blood Fairy had secretly gone to check the inscriptions on the Mountain of Tiger. If Blood Fairy could not find a way, then Luli would give up this mission. Luli was not skilled in divine inscriptions, and he did not have Blood Fairy's ability to crack formations. Therefore, if Blood Fairy could not do anything, then he could only watch. He did not want to clash with Mountain Ishan and the others. He only wanted to quietly enter Mount Godly Tiger and then take away all the divine liquid within Godly Tiger Pool. After that, he would immediately leave. Though the Pond of Tiger God was just a pond, it was much larger than the Heaven Pond. The Pond of Tiger God was at least as large as dozens of Heaven Ponds. If he could take away all the spring water in the Pond of Tiger God, then it would be enough for Luli to make dozens of drops of liquid. Luli set up the sacred mountain in the cave, and then went to the tree to cultivate while waiting for Blood Fairy's result. If Blood Fairy could crack the formation, then Luli could use stealth skill to sneak in, take away the spring water, and leave. Mountain Ishan was an old man. Warriors of his level would not sit around and daydream when they had nothing to do. Usually they would cultivate. As long as Luli was careful, he would not startle Mountain Ishan. Guanyang did not come with Luli, but he did not stay in Mountain Qinyan either. Instead, he sent some servants to Mountain Qinyan. Luli asked them to monitor the entire Cyan Tiger region. If the blood race came and they did not know about it, then they would die in vain. Half a month passed by. Blood Fairy came back. Her voice woke Luli up. Master, the runes here are really strong. It will be difficult to crack them open. It will take me at least several years to do so. Luli was taken aback by Blood Fairy's words. Luli was delighted to hear this. Blood Fairy was implying something. What if I just want to sneak in? Luli asked at once. Then it will be easier. Blood Fairy replied. There are 7 layers of inscriptions here. They seem to overlap with each other, and there are no blind spots. But I found a shortcut. I can take you in by exploiting the loopholes in the inscriptions, but I cannot guarantee that the warrior will not notice when you touch the inscriptions. I see. Luli was taken aback. Blood Fairy could take him in, but they might be discovered by Mountain Ishan. That was normal. After all, it was Mountain Ishan who built the inscriptions. If he were awake, he would be able to sense it. Back in the days, Luli built many small inscriptions in the tomb of Emperor Yong. Once someone touched them, Luli would know. Luli thought about it and asked, how long will it take to repair this sacred mountain? Blood Fairy thought for a moment and said, at least a month and a half. Then don't be in such a hurry. Let's repair the sacred mountain first. Luli gave the order. He had made up his mind. As long as the sacred mountain could be repaired, it would not matter even if Mountain Ishan found out. Worst came to worst. Luli could just ride the sacred mountain to escape. Mountain Ishan was about as powerful as Ghost Dancer. He could not crack the sacred mountain. Okay. Blood Fairy focused on repairing the sacred mountain. Luli sat with his legs crossed and continued to cultivate. Guanyang had the entire Cyan Tiger region under surveillance. Luli was not worried. The blood race was easy to recognize. They could not sneak in quietly. Soon a month passed. Blood Fairy had not finished repairing the sacred mountain. Luli was alarmed. Guanyang had found him. Guanyang was solemn. He dropped to one knee and said, Lord, the blood race is here. But only some top-level scouts are here. They have arrived at the base camp of the blood race. They are investigating the murderer. A blood race warrior of the blood race seems to have sensed the presence of the blood print. He is coming. Oh, a glint of coldness rose in Luli's eyes. Can you deal with this blood race warrior? Guanyang nodded. Luli waved his hand. Kill them. Kill all the blood race scouts in the Cyan Tiger region as well. Leave no one alive. I need at most a month on my side. Hold them off for a month. Yes, Lord. Guanyang flew away. They had no other choice but to follow Luli to the end. After they killed the blood race warrior and the scout, it would take at least a month for the blood race to send more powerful warriors over. By then, Luli would kill every blood race warrior that came. Guanyang quickly returned to the nearby town, then immediately gathered his brothers and split up to act. He would stop the blood race warrior of the blood race, while the others would search for the blood race scouts and kill them all. Another half a month later, Blood Fairy said, "Master, the sacred mountain has been repaired. Its defense is the same as before. Nothing has changed." "Good. Let's do it." Luli stood up and dashed out of the sacred mountain. He waved his hand and said, "Crack the formation. Show me the way. We will sneak into the pond of Magic Tiger. P.S. The meeting will last for 2 days. I will not be able to write. The day after tomorrow, I will update as usual. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leader's Mobile Version. Chapter 31:14. The runes on the mountain of Tiger God started from the foot of the mountain. But the runes at the foot of the mountain were weaker and more obscure. They were only for warning purposes. If it were Luli, he might accidentally trigger them. But with Blood Fairy, it would not be a problem. Guided by Blood Fairy, Luli climbed up the mountain at a moderate pace. In less than an hour, they arrived at the top of the mountain of Tiger God. "Master, the first protection rune is up ahead," Blood Fairy warned. Luli used stealth at once. If he triggered the rune and was discovered, Mu Ishan and the others might not be able to see him while he was invisible. Then, Luli could retreat. Ahead of them was a forest, which was the first layer of protection. Luli saw many venomous snakes and insects in the forest, which were part of the formation as well. If some powerful warriors sneaked in, they might be able to avoid the rune. However, those snakes and insects would be alarmed. Their attacks would trigger the rune of warning, and Mu Ishan and the others would know. Luli felt lucky that he had stealth. Otherwise, with Blood Fairy leading the way, they could avoid the snakes and insects, but the possibility of being alarmed would be high. Luli moved slowly. Following Blood Fairy, he took many turns, and it took him an hour to get out of the woods. Ahead of them was a stream. Luli was about to fly over when Blood Fairy said, "Master, this stream is the second protection rune. If you dare to fly over, you will trigger the rune and the stream will attack you." Luli frowned. "Should I go through the stream? Something is wrong with the water." Luli took a closer look at the water. It was a dark yellow color and looked murky. However, he sensed a strong sense of danger, as if there were some ferocious beasts lurking in the river. "There is something wrong with the river," Blood Fairy explained. "First of all, the water is poisonous. Second, there's a strange creature in the river that is quite powerful. We cannot fly over or walk in the river. Then how are we going to get there?" Luli asked. He was not worried. Blood Fairy said that she could take him in. She must have a way. Blood Fairy replied, "We can take a boat. You can find a piece of wood as long as you don't touch the water." "That works too." Luli curled his lips. It had been years since Luli took a boat on the water. Though he often rode on battleships, those were not regular ones. They were relics that looked like ships. "Master, the third tree on the left can be chopped down." Under Blood Fairy's guidance, Luli took out a saber and chopped down the trunk. Blood Fairy continued, "Master, later on, listen to me and move the log forward. Do not make any mistake or you will trigger the runes." Luli carried the log into the river. Then he stood on the log and controlled it to move forward according to Blood Fairy's instructions. Blood Fairy told Luli to go down along the stream, take a turn, go up, and then go down again. It took him 4 or 5 turns before he reached the other side of the stream. "Xiao!" Luli landed on the ground and put away the wood. He followed Luli on. The terrain changed again. Several deep pits appeared. The pits were bottomless and dark. Nobody knew what was at the bottom. It made one's heart palpitate. "Master, jump into the second pit." Luli thought he had misheard Blood Fairy's words. Clearly, the pit was built by Muishan. There must be runes in it. How could Blood Fairy tell him to jump? Luli jumped into the pit when he got the confirmation. After a white glare, Luli was teleported away. Luli was nervous. Being transported away meant that he had already touched the divine glyph, possibly alerting Mu Ishan and the others. He appeared on a patch of grass, and behind him were those dozens of densely packed pits. Luli didn't dare to move, so he stealthily stood on the grass. At the same time, He activated the mark of the Great Tao to see if Mountain Ishan and the others had been alarmed. Phew. After the time for one incense stick to burn, Luli finally breathed in relief. Muishan was not alerted. Maybe he was cultivating. This was a good chance for Luli. Luli moved on. This grassland was the fourth test. The grassland did not seem to be special. As a matter of fact, there were runes everywhere. It was just that they were obscure. With Blood Fairy by their side, they were able to easily get past the next obstacle. Up ahead was a dense thicket of thorns, which blocked their way. There were ripples in the air. Clearly, they could not fly over. This time, Blood Fairy took action. She quietly cracked the formation. An opening appeared in the thorny forest. Luli snuck in. When he went in, the thorny forest closed up. It was the same as before. Nothing had changed. This time, Luli was nervous as well. He did not move. He checked the surroundings to make sure that Muishan was not alerted before he moved on. There was a small bridge in front of him. There were runes on the bridge as well. Under Blood Fairy's guidance, Luli crossed the bridge easily. Along the way, Luli exclaimed, Muishan was indeed skilled in runes. If it were not for Blood Fairy, Luli would not have been able to sneak in. Not even a master of runes could come in unless he broke down the formation by force. However, there are more than just a few divine rune arrays here. Many other powerful killing arrays and defensive arrays were hidden, just that they had not been activated. Luli could already see a pond in the distance. Before he got close to the pond, he could smell the fresh air, which refreshed him and made him feel comfortable. That is the mystical spring. Luli used psychic power to check. There was a pond with a small opening above it. A stream of white water as thick as a thumb was pouring out. That must be the mystical spring. Luli was not far away from the pond. Between them was a man-made pile of plum blossoms. There were hundreds of them. Blood Fairy said, Master, there is a strong formation of confusion in here. It will be hard to get out after you go in. I can take you out, but you must be mentally prepared. As soon as you go in, the pile of plum blossoms will be activated and the runes will be activated. You may alert the Asmodeans here. I understand. Luli nodded. He would be near the mystical spring when he went past the pile of plum blossoms. He could absorb all the mystical spring in the pond into his interspatial ring and then run away. Therefore, it was crucial that he could go through the pile of plum blossoms without alerting Muishan. Even though Luli had the holy mountain, once Muishan was alerted and all the runes here were activated, it would be difficult for him to escape. Let's go. He was already here. What else could he gain? Luli strode into the plum blossom stump with Blood Fairy as the guide. As soon as he stepped into the plum blossom stump, the wood began to glow. Following that, a thick white mist spread out. Luli felt everything around him had disappeared. He was swallowed by the mist. Oh no! Right at that moment, Luli's heart skipped a beat. He sensed a strong psychic power. The pile of plum blossoms was activated and Muishan was alerted. Luli might be exposed. P.S. Updates will resume tomorrow. Chapter 31:15. Luli did not dare to move. When he was not moving, the stealth skill could hide him well. Average warriors would not be able to detect him. If he moved, he would be discovered more easily. Luli was nervous. To his relief, the psychic power did not stop after one scan. Instead, the psychic power scanned to other places and finally stopped on Blood Fairy. You are just a goblin. How dare you break into my formation of plum blossoms? An old voice came. Luli was delighted. He sent a message to Blood Fairy at once, telling her to go underground. Blood Fairy was like a spirit that had been discovered. She fled into the ground in panic. That psychic power checked again and then went back. It seemed that the psychic power did not care about Blood Fairy, nor was it interested in her. The psychic power had no intention of going after her. Luli did not move. He was hesitating. Once he moved, the pattern on the plum blossoms would be triggered and Muishan would be alerted. How could he get to the Pond of Magic if he did not move? After an hour, Blood Fairy came back. Luli made up his mind. He asked, Blood Fairy, can you solve the plum blossoms in an instant? Can you help me get to the Pond of Magic? It was only the time for one breath to collect the spring water in the pond of magic. As long as the plum blossoms could be cracked, Luli could absorb the spring water in an instant. Then, he could control the holy mountain to soar to the sky. Before Mui Shan could react, Luli would be out of the range of the pattern. As long as he was not trapped by the pattern, Luli would not be afraid of Mui Shan and could get rid of him easily. Sure, Blood Fairy gave a positive answer. This maze may be difficult for others, but it is easy for me. But after I solve it, Mui Shan will know for sure. Master, are you sure? Yes. Luli made up his mind. But after a pause, he added, Blood Fairy, can you solve the pattern around where Mui Shan lives? If we can alter the divine runes on that side and cause some problems, it would be perfect if we could disrupt him for a few breaths of time. It will be difficult. This time, Blood Fairy's answer disappointed Luli. First of all, it will take time to solve the formation. Also, he might notice during the process. Secondly, even if I can modify the runes, it will not affect him much. After all, he will check as soon as the runes are solved. Then let's forget about it. Luli waved his hand and said, Crack the formation. Once you're done, you can enter the sacred mountain immediately. Blood Fairy secretly went to crack the formation. Luli was ready to take out the sacred mountain at any time. In the time for only 10 breaths, the plum blossom stump glowed. Blood Fairy said, Master, follow the route I gave you and rush out. Xiao. Luli transformed into a sharp sword and flew away. In the blink of an eye, he was out of the pile of plum blossoms. He rushed to the vicinity of the celestial tiger pool and took out the distant heaven pearl. The pearl flashed, and the spirit spring water within the celestial tiger pool was rapidly absorbed. How dare you? A hoarse voice filled with killing intent came out. By the time the voice came out, Luli had absorbed all the water in the tiger pond. The pond dried up, revealing the ugly mud at the bottom. Buzzing, Luli dashed into the sacred mountain. Almost at the same time, a huge hand appeared in midair. It was not an illusion, but a real one. The hand smashed down at the sacred mountain. Boom! The sacred mountain trembled, but did not sustain any damage. Blood Fairy had already snuck in. She controlled the sacred mountain to move horizontally and fly up to the sky. You want to run? Never. An old man in white robes rushed out. His robes fluttered, and a phantom image condensed behind him. He released his Dharma idol, which was a huge black, ferocious beast. With a domineering and murderous aura, it blasted towards the sacred mountain. At the same time, he took out a spear with a black glow of destruction. The spear pierced through the sky toward the sacred mountain. From between the old man's eyebrows came out a ray of dark light. He could sense that there were 2 powerful warriors on the sacred mountain, one at the Emperor realm and the other at the Saint King realm. The old man used his strongest soul attack, ready to finish Luli off first. Nice! Luli was not frightened by Mui Shan's attack. Instead, he was delighted. What he feared the most was not Mui Shan's attack, but that he would activate the divine pattern formation to seal off this world. In that case, it would be much more difficult for Luli to run away. Mui Shan had been careless. He saw Luli, a warrior at the Emperor realm, sneaking in. Luli even sucked away the spring water in the pond of Tiger God, which enraged Mui Shan. The only thought on his mind was to tear Luli into pieces. Luli was only a warrior at the Emperor realm. Mui Shan did not think that Luli could stand his attack. Boom! The Dharma form was much more powerful than Luli. The spear was as powerful as Sacred Ancestor Yuan. That being said, the Sacred Mountain had withstood the attacks from the 4 Sacred Ancestors. Therefore, Mui Shan's attack only made the Sacred Mountain tremble, but it did not crack. The soul attack did make it into the Sacred Mountain. However, Luli dashed into the pond, and Blood Fairy used the protection formation to protect her from the soul attack. Lady Li had been cultivating and did not show any reaction. Whoosh! How could Luli miss such a good chance? The holy mountain soared high into the sky, and then flew toward the south at extremely fast speed. How Mui Shan was stunned. How could the sacred mountain be so strong? It must be comparable to the most powerful holy weapon. How could a warrior at the Emperor realm have such a treasure? His reaction was very fast. He shot into the sky and released a stream of origin energy to activate the spell formation within the Mount God Tiger. Then, he quickly chased after the sacred mountain. Ha ha ha! Luli laughed. The sacred mountain sped up and vanished into the distance. Luli said, "Don't chase after me. The spring water is inexhaustible. It will be filled up again after a while. I am of the Guam race. We do not want to be enemies with you. I hope you will not make a mistake." Luli used Dragon Roar to shout the last sentence. His voice was so loud that it hurt Mu Ishan's eardrums. Mu Ishan pulled a long face. After a while, he realized that he had lost track of the sacred mountain. He stopped with a gloomy face. Luli's appearance was imitating the Guam race. His roar was so loud that it was like the sky-cracking roar of the Guam race. What was more, the sacred mountain was such a treasure. This made Mu Ishan believe that Luli was of the Guam race. Powerful warriors would not be interested in the pond of Tiger God. Average warriors would not dare to mess with him. Only the major races of the Green Tiger universe would have the guts to come here. The Guam race was one of the major races of the Green Tiger universe. They had always coveted the pond of Tiger God. It was not surprising that they would send their people to get the spring water. What confused Mu Ishan was, since when did the Guam race have such a powerful divine rune master? The formation he built was powerful, but Luli managed to sneak in without anyone noticing. It was fortunate that Luli was only at the Great Emperor realm. If it were some old bastard of the Guam race, Luli would have been killed by a sneak attack. Mu Ishan's eyes were filled with anger. The more he thought about it, the more furious he became. He was violent and vengeful. Even though the Guam race was strong, he was not afraid. Charge! Mu Ishan roared and flew into the distance. Since the Guam race dared to provoke him, they would have to pay a heavy price. He did this not only to vent his anger, but also to tell all the major races of the Green Tiger universe that the Pond of Tiger God was his. Any race that wanted to take it would have to face his wrath. Chapter 31:16. Luli stopped after flying for tens of millions of miles. He found a small city, changed his appearance, and teleported away. He teleported to a small city near Mount Qinyun and found a tavern to stay in. He sent a message to Guanyang and the others before he entered the sacred mountain. In the sacred mountain, Luli took out the distant heaven bead and went in. Then the swirl in the realm of Dharma began to absorb the energy in the spring. This is good. After a while, Luli sensed that the energy in the mystical spring was no weaker than that of the pond. The mystical spring had filled up half of the separated heaven bead. If he could absorb all of it, he could make some divine liquid. The spring was absorbed quickly. Luli saw some purple haze in the realm of Dharma. Luli was relieved. He was not a match for a Saint King yet. He had to rely on the liquid and venom from the realm of Dharma. Otherwise, a Saint King could kill him in one move. Relying on these was not the way to go. In the end, he had to rely on his own strength. But what could Luli do? How many years had he been cultivating? It was already incredible that he could have such abilities. He was not like Lady Li, who had the entire wild race to help him. Food must be taken one step at a time. His abilities must be improved bit by bit. Not even a warrior at the complete completion of a blood race could help him reach the Saint King realm in a short time. Soon, a month had passed. Half of the spring was gone. Luli was alerted by Guanyang's arrival. Luli dashed out. Guanyang didn't recognize him at all. Luli was surprised. Buzzing, Luli changed his appearance back to his original one. Guanyang finally came to his senses and bowed to Luli. Luli nodded and asked, "How is it going?" "All done," Guanyang said with a cruel smile. "We have killed all the blood race's Overlord Realm warriors and their scouts. We have interrogated them. None of them are missing. But Brother 3 has a blood mark in him. I think the Saint Kings of the blood race will be here in a month or two at most." "Don't worry." Luli waved his hand and said, "I will deal with them in a month. Tell Brother 3 to wait in this city. Go and monitor the situation at the Green Tiger region. Report to me as soon as powerful warriors of the blood race come in." "All right. Did anything big happen in the Green Tiger domain recently? Yes. Guanyang touched his nose, looked at Lu Li, and said, Mountain Man Mu Yishan and the Gue race are fighting. Mountain Man Mu Yishan killed dozens of powerful warriors of the Gue race. Now, the Gue race is enraged. All their powerful warriors have come out to hunt down Mountain Man Mu Yishan. My lord, I remember that you were near the Divine Tiger Pool some time ago, right? What does this have to do with you? Hee hee. Lu Li smiled lightly, waved his hand, and said, Why are you asking so many questions? If they want to fight, then let them fight. Go down and report immediately if there's any information. Yes, my lord. Guanyang left with a straight face. Inside, he was amazed. It seemed that the war between Mountain Wood Yishan and the Gue race was caused by Lu Li. Lu Li's disguise skills were amazing. The more powerful Lu Li was, the more secure he would be. They had nowhere else to go now. If Lu Li died, they would not survive either. Lu Li went back to the holy mountain to absorb more mystical spring water. After another month, Lu Li woke up with a start again. Almost all of the mystical spring water had been absorbed. There were some drops of divine liquid in the realm of magic, and there would be one every 2 days. Lu Li sensed that it was similar to the purple divine liquid. What kind of abilities did it have? Could improve his body or soul. He went out. Brother 3 of the Guan family came to him and said, My lord, the blood race is here. So far, there are 3 Saint Emperors, 2 at the middle stage, 1 at the initial stage, and more than a dozen at the Great Emperor realm. 3 Saint Emperors? Lu Li nodded and asked, Are you sure? Maybe there are some hidden powerful warriors. We will not be able to react in time. I don't think so. Brother 3 of the Guan family said, Brother 9 is monitoring in person. He saw with his own eyes that only a few powerful warriors came in. He's still outside. If there are more of the blood race, he will let us know at once. Okay. Lu Li asked, Where the blood race now? Guli City. Brother 3 of the Guan family took out a map and said, They are all teleporting to this small city. Clearly, they can feel the bloodstains on me and you. So, they're here for revenge. My lord, what should we do? Should we start a war? Should we get my big brother and the others here? What are you panicking about? Lu Li waved his hand and said, Send a message to them. Hide and don't expose yourselves. Hire more warriors to find out the whereabouts of the blood race and report back in time. In the following period of time, I will bring you along as we flee, and we will do it openly. Let them pay attention to my mountain. Yes. Brother 3 of the Guan family began to send a message. The brothers had a special way of messaging. As long as they were in this universe, they could communicate with each other. Lu Li did not leave. Instead, he went back to absorb what was left of the spring water. He told Brother 3 of the Guan family to wake him up when the blood race was half a day away. 10 days later, Lu Li had 7 or 8 drops of divine liquid in his realm of magic. During this time, Lu Li consumed 1 drop. He found that the divine liquid did not improve his body, but it was very effective in enhancing his soul, even better than the purple divine liquid. With so many drops of purple divine liquid, Lu Li's confidence was boosted. After Brother 3 of the Guan family reported, Lu Li came out and teleported him to the Holy Mountain. Brother 3 of the Guan family had blood marks on him. If Lu Li didn't take him, he would die for sure. Lu Li left the city. He was 3,000 miles away from the city. He sat on a small mountain and waited quietly. Half a day later, he heard some noises coming from the city. More than a dozen people came over. Before they got close, they sensed 3 strong psychic powers. They are here. Lu Li stood up with a cold look in his eyes. He dashed into the holy mountain, and it flew toward the west. Lu Li controlled the speed of the holy mountain to be as fast as the fastest Saint Emperor. You want to run? Let's go. An old warrior with strong chi and energy snorted and went after Lu Li with a group of blood race warriors. They didn't need to check to know that Lu Li had the blood mark on him. Brother 3 of the Guan family also had the blood mark. They could feel it as well. Since there were blood marks, those 2 must be the enemies that killed the blood race. They had to go after them first. After a while, The most powerful warrior of the blood race realized that the great Emperor realm warriors behind him could not keep up. The Holy Mountain was as fast as him. The other two Saint Emperors were struggling to keep up. Forget it, that Saint Emperor shouted. Go on your own. Find out why this branch of the blood race and our people were wiped out. Find the remaining ones. Just now, this Saint Emperor had sensed that Lu Li was only a great Emperor realm warrior. 3 Saint Emperors chasing after one great Emperor realm warrior was already a great honor for him. Therefore, it didn't matter if the other great Emperor realm warriors were following him or not. Chapter 31:17. Lu Li's strategy was simple. He would kill the blood race one by one, spreading them out and killing them one by one. If they were all together, Lu Li was afraid that it would be dangerous. If they went one by one, it would be much easier. The difference in strength between a Saint Emperor and an Emperor was too great. First, they would be separated, and then the remaining 3 Saint Emperors would be separated. This way, it would be much more fun. Lu Li sensed that there were only 3 spatial fluctuations behind him. He began to control the Holy Mountain to increase its speed slightly. The increase was not particularly obvious, but it would allow the 3 Saint Kings to put some distance between them. As expected, the strength of the 3 Saint Emperors was different, and as they flew, they pulled apart from each other. The distance between the Saint Emperors in the front and the Saint Emperors in the middle was more than 100 li, and the distance between the Saint Emperors in the middle and the Saint Emperors in the back was more than 100 li. As time passed, the gap between them would only widen. The 3 Saint Emperors also discovered this problem, but if they stopped, it would be even more difficult to catch up to the Saint Mountain. If they stopped for a breath of time, the Saint Mountain would fly tens of thousands of miles away. When flying, there was inertia. No one was willing to stop, so the 3 Saint Emperors chased relentlessly. They all discovered that the sacred mountain was a supreme treasure. It was rare to see such a fast-flying treasure. Lu Li secretly sped up. The 3 Saint Kings were getting further and further away from him. The 3 Saint Kings were already more than 5,000 miles apart. The 3 Saint Emperors suspected that Lu Li was trying to separate them. But so what? They could all sense the blood marks on Lu Li. As long as Lu Li stopped for the time, for one breath, they could approach him. Therefore, it was not a big deal to keep some distance between them. 2 hours later, the 3 Saint Emperors were already several 100,000 kilometers apart. Lu Li's unbridled flight had alarmed many warriors, and with the 3 blood race Saint Kings chasing after him, this matter attracted the attention of even more old demons and major races. The news of the extermination of the Blood Clan in the Green Tiger world had long been spread. After all, the Blood Clan was considered a pretty big clan. Naturally, it attracted the attention of many other clans. Now that the Blood Clan had sent a Saint Emperor, it was obvious that he was a powerhouse from a branch of the Blood Clan outside. It seemed that the martial artist in the hill they were chasing was the culprit who had destroyed the Blood Clan in the Green Tiger world. Mountain Man Mu Yishan was still fighting with the goo. When he heard the news, he was at first stunned, but then he flew into a rage. Because the master of that sacred mountain was the one who had stolen the Spirit Spring. He stopped attacking the Darks and teleported over, trying to stop Lu Li. Half a day later, Lu Li had flown who knew how far. The 3 Saint Kings were now tens of millions of kilometers away from each other. It would take at least an hour for the other 2 Saint Kings to catch up. Lu Li had finally decided to take action. Misty, Lu Li's voice came to Lady Li, who was cultivating at the bottom of the pond. Lady Li was startled. She looked at Lu Li with a frown and asked, "What is it now?" Guan Laosan was also here. He had already noticed Lady Li at the bottom of the Heaven Lake, but he didn't dare to ask. Lu Li looked at her with a smile and asked, "Do you want me to let you go?" Miss Li was startled, then replied, "Of course I want to, but would you be so kind? Of course I won't let you go for free." Lu Li said seriously, "There's a Saint King chasing after me. As long as you can distract him, I'll let you go." Lady Li frowned. She understood that Lu Li was trying to divert the trouble, but she thought about it and asked, "What is the Saint King's realm? How strong is he?" Lu Li explained, "Middle stage of the Saint King, a bit stronger than A.O. Yun. Okay. Miss Li readily agreed because her defense was heaven-defying. Unless it was an expert who was infinitely close to the consummate level, it would be very difficult to kill her. Luli wanted her to distract the enemy. Even though there was one more powerful warrior after her, she still had a chance to escape. She said, "Give me my sword, and I will distract him for you." Sure. Luli took out a small red sword. He threw it into the pond and said, "When you get out, attack him and force him to retreat, or you will not be able to get away." Okay. Lady Li grabbed the red sword, which gave her confidence. She could lose her chastity at any time when she was imprisoned here by Lu Li. She might as well go out and take a gamble. Her defense was incredible. As long as she could withstand the powerful warrior's attacks, she could escape. Buzzing, a white light flashed on the sacred mountain, and Miss Li appeared outside. She discovered that there was indeed a sacred emperor chasing after her. Without any hesitation, she released a few attacks at the same time. The fiery red sword turned into a fire dragon as it whizzed forward. At the same time, the diamond tattoo on her forehead lit up. She had used the desolate race's innate divine ability. Lu Li's intention of letting Lady Li out was clear. He wanted her to help him fend off the Saint King of the Blood Race so that he could sneak up on her. He was not afraid that the Saint King of the Blood Race would kill him instantly. Lady Li's defense was much stronger than his. Also, he wanted to use the special skills of the Wild Race. It would be easier to kill the Saint King of the Blood Race. Courting death. When the pursuing Blood Race powerhouses saw a Saint Emperor flying out of the Holy Mountain, they didn't even think about it and immediately attacked. A mist of blood came out from his body, which turned into invisible dragons of blood that whooshed toward Lady Li. At the same time, the saber in his hand glowed as he was about to use fundamental principle. At that moment, he felt that time had stopped. His attacks became extremely slow. This was because of the special skills of the Wild Race. The time and the area he was in had slowed down. Buzzing, Lu Li dashed out from the sacred mountain. He had already used a new drop of purple divine elixir. His soul was strengthened by 100 times. At once, Lu Li used the formation skill. The Saint King of the Blood Race felt his vision blacked out as his soul was sealed. "Die!" Lu Li bellowed. The halberd of Emperor Yong appeared, and he hacked at the Saint King. There were 3 drops of black and gray poison in this attack. Lu Li did not want anything to go wrong. He wanted to kill the Saint King on the spot. As expected, the halberd of Emperor Yong landed on the Saint King of the Blood Race. Then, the Saint King let out a miserable cry. His body melted at a terrifying speed. He didn't even have the time to twist his head off. Boom! The Saint King of the Blood Race fell down as a skeleton. Only an interspatial ring was left floating in the air, glowing in a faint black light. Just as Lu Li breathed a sigh of relief, he heard a scream of pain. Lu Li took a look and was shocked. Lady Li was entangled by many blood-red threads. She had turned into a meat dumpling. What was more, the blood threads were entering her body. The armor she was wearing could not protect her. The blood threads disappeared quickly, and all of them were absorbed into Lady Li's body. Lady Li rolled around and screamed miserably. Her eyes were filled with pleading. She screamed, "Lu Li, help me. Help me, or I will die." That is so horrible. Lu Li was speechless. Luckily, he asked Lady Li to help him. Otherwise, he would be the one suffering. Suffering was not a big deal. But if he were killed by the powerful warriors of the Blood Race, then he would be doomed. P.S. 4 chapters will be added tomorrow. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 3118. Lu Li took the interspatial ring from the powerful Blood Race warrior. He grabbed Lady Li and dashed into the sacred mountain. Then he asked Blood Fairy to control the sacred mountain to go back the way they came to kill the second Saint Emperor. Throwing Lady Li into the pond, Lu Li asked Brother 3 of the Guan family. One of the Blood Race let out a mist of blood, which then turned into strands of blood and entered her body. What is this skill? Blood drinking skill. Brother 3 of the Guan family looked at Lady Li, who was rolling around in the pond, and said with fear, "This is a special skill of the blood race. But not every blood race can awaken it. This is a skill that uses the essence blood of the blood race to release. It can ignore defense and directly attack the source of life of a warrior. It will corrode the warrior bit by bit. I don't know the details, but it is very strange. Blood drinking skill was the reason why the blood race was so powerful and famous. Luli, help me, or I will haunt you every day, even if I die and become a ghost." Lady Li was still rolling around in the pond, howling. She hated Luli to the core. Now, she understood that Luli had let her out to be a shield. In other words, she had taken a blow for Luli. This was supposed to be the pain that Luli had to bear, but she, a girl, had to bear it. She could feel her source of life was fading away. At this rate, she would become a dead body. "What are you screaming about?" Luli threw her a glance and said, "You chose your own path. I did not force you to go out. That Saint Emperor is stronger than Ao Yun. You have felt it. As for the fact that you are affected, that is because you are not strong enough. You cannot blame others. If you can survive, I will keep my word." Luli dashed into the pond. Then, he patted Lady Li and said, "Don't move. I will help you get the blood strands out. If you move, you will die." As a matter of fact, Lady Li couldn't even roll around now. Her source of life had been drained away. Her body was extremely weak. Luli did not know how to solve the problem. He had to use the simplest method, which was to absorb the energy with the realm of magic. He put his hand on Lady Li's head and activated the swirl in the realm of magic. As the swirl spun, the blood strands in Lady Li's body were sucked in. All right, since he could absorb Lady Li, then she could be saved. Luli didn't want Lady Li to die now. By then, Fu Zhu would be furious and come after Luli at all costs. Before the blood race was completely wiped out, it would be his doomsday if the prestige ancestor found the blood race. Luli moved his hand slowly, absorbing the blood from Lady Li bit by bit. When his hand stopped at her chest, he squeezed it. Lady Li's eyes were filled with anger. She was filled with killing intent. She mobilized her source energy, ready to fight Luli with all her might. "Don't move, or I'll seal your soul and force myself on you. If I don't dissolve it for you, I'll turn you into a skeleton." Luli glanced over coldly. Lady Li was speechless. Miss Li had clearly seen how the Blood Clan's holy emperor had died. Lady Li closed her eyes. Her pretty face was filled with shame and anger. She allowed Luli's hand to sweep over her body again. He touched her all over, even that mysterious area. Last time, she was touched by Luli. This time, it was different because Brother 3 of the Guan family was on top. Being molested by Luli in front of so many people made Lady Li feel so ashamed that she wanted to die. "Lord, you are so brave." Brother 3 of the Guan family watched from above with admiration. A holy emperor was being molested by Luli and did not even dare to fight back. How brave was Luli? After helping Lady Li to dissolve the blood, Luli dashed out. Lady Li consumed the elixir at once and sat down to recover her vitality. Luli sat under the tree to recover as well. He had consumed a drop of purple divine liquid. He was a bit weak and needed to recover. He asked Blood Fairy to slow down the holy mountain so that he could be in a better state when he fought the second holy emperor. The Blood Clan holy emperor in the middle did not come over. Instead, he stood in midair with a troubled expression. He had sensed it when the Blood Clan holy emperor was killed. The most powerful Blood Clan holy emperor was killed. He was much weaker than the Blood Clan holy emperor. If the Blood Clan holy emperor was killed, then it was very likely that he was killed as well. Now, the Blood Clan holy emperor was convinced that this was Luli's plot. He had thought that in the face of absolute power, no tricks or schemes would work. Now, it seemed that his idea was laughable. Let's wait for Brother 5 to catch up. The Blood Clan holy emperor decided not to go on. There was another Blood Clan holy emperor behind him. When the Blood Clan holy emperor caught up, the two Blood Clan holy emperors could help each other. The Blood Clan Holy Emperor was wrong. The Blood Clan Holy Emperor was the weakest. He was frightened. Not only did he not catch up, but he also started to retreat. Even the most powerful Blood Clan Holy Emperor could be killed. He had just reached the Blood Clan Holy Emperor. Killing him was as easy as killing a chicken. Therefore, after 2 hours, the second Blood Clan Holy Emperor did not come. Instead, it was Luli. When Luli saw the Holy Mountain coming from the distance, and sensed the presence of the blood stamp, he pulled a long face. Fight! The Holy Mountain was faster than him. Luli could not run away. He took out his relic weapon and armor, ready to fight. Luli flew the Holy Mountain over. He had rested for 2 hours and had recovered a lot. Lady Li. Looking at Lady Li, Luli said, "There is another Blood Clan Holy Emperor out there. He is weaker. Do you want to go and have a try?" "I will not go after you as long as you can survive the attacks from this Blood Clan Holy Emperor and run away." Lady Li had not recovered yet. She opened her eyes, glared at Luli, and said, "Please do not insult my intelligence. You can fool me once, but not twice." "Ha ha ha." Luli laughed and shook his head. "It is not difficult for me to kill this Blood Clan Holy Emperor. I have given you a chance, so stay here." Boom, boom, boom. The Blood Clan Holy Emperor began to attack the Holy Mountain. Luli asked Blood Fairy to control the Holy Mountain to move closer to the Blood Clan Holy Emperor. Luli wanted to kill this Blood Clan Holy Emperor without using the purple divine liquid. The Blood Clan Holy Emperor was alert. He had been moving around. The Holy Mountain was fast and under continuous attacks. It was hard to get close to the Blood Clan Holy Emperor. There is no other way. Luli used the purple divine liquid and dashed out. Behind him, the Dharma form whooshed on. On the other side, he used the halberd of Emperor Yom. At the same time, he used formations. The Dharma form was impressive, but it was only to distract the Blood Clan Holy Emperor. The real attack was the formation. As long as the soul was sealed, it would be a piece of cake to kill the Blood Clan Holy Emperor. As expected, after the time for 10 breaths, the Blood Clan Holy Emperor was reduced to a pile of bones. He died on the spot. Chapter 3119. Ji Yuan Boundary. This was a relatively large boundary. There was a huge mountain range to the south of the Ji Yuan boundary. It was called the Blood Mist Mountains. This mountain range was shrouded in red mist all year round. It looked like a blood mist. This blood mist was not formed naturally. It was a powerful formation. A powerful clan lived in the Blood Mist Mountains. It was one of the top 10 clans in the Ji Yuan boundary. The Blood Kindred. There was a branch of the Blood Kindred here. It was the strongest branch of the Blood Kindred in the entire heavenly chaotic starfield. There were a total of 6 Saint Emperors here, and one of them was a late Saint Emperor. He also possessed a powerful ability and the innate ability of the blood race. Unless it was an expert who was infinitely close to great perfection, the other Saint Emperors wouldn't dare to provoke him. Today, the bell in the Blood Mist Mountains rang. Countless Blood Kindred in seclusion were awakened. Their faces were filled with sorrow. They quickly gathered at the top of the mountain. The bell didn't mean that there was an invasion. It meant that an elder had died. Back in the 4th heaven, the Blood Kindred was attacked by a large clan. Their headquarters was destroyed. Almost all of their experts were killed. Only a few branches managed to escape. Therefore, there were very few Saint King Elders in the Blood Kindred. The death of each elder was a great loss to the Blood Kindred. When the Blood Kindred arrived at the top of the mountain, they received shocking news. This time, it was not one elder who died, but 2 elders. They were the 2nd and 4th elders of the clan. Since they were ranked 2nd, it meant that the elders were very powerful. They were only inferior to the clan leader and the 1st elder. Countless vampires knelt down in grief, but even more vampires began to clamor, declaring that they would mobilize their entire clan to tear the enemy into pieces. The remaining 3 Saint Emperors of the clan gathered in a large hall. They paid no attention to the clamor of the clansmen outside. The 3 Saint Emperors had stern expressions. The 2nd elder, 4th elder, and fifth elder went to the Green Tiger world to investigate the annihilation of the branch there and the death of the scouts they sent. They had not been there for long. They had just arrived at the Green Tiger boundary, and 2 Saint Kings had been killed. This made them feel pressure. Endless pressure. Since the enemy was able to kill 2 Saint Kings in less than 4 hours, they guessed that the enemy was definitely a supreme clan or a supreme old demon. The blood race was famous back in the day, but that was already yesterday's news. The current blood race was very weak, and their king was only a late Saint King. He wasn't even infinitely close to great perfection. If the enemy they provoked was an existence that was infinitely close to the great perfection realm, then this might be a true genocide for the blood race. First elder, third elder, the blood soul jade, the kindred's kindred king, pondered for a moment and ordered, "Go to the Zoomer realm and the ink dragon realm respectively and invite the saint emperors of the 2 branches over. The only thing we can do now is to gather all the power of the blood clan to fight against the enemy. I will make a trip to the Ji-Yuan city and ask the insect race to investigate the culprit." "Yes, family king." The 2 saint emperors nodded in agreement. They felt that Blood Soul Jade was right. They should unite all the experts of the blood race to fight against the enemy. Going to the insect race was the right choice. The insect race was one of the strongest races in the heavenly chaotic star fields. They had merchant associations in all the realms, and they were the most well-informed. Instead of sending the blood race to investigate, why not spend some celestial stones on the insect race? On the other side, Blood Soul Jade also sent a secret message to the remaining Saint King Elder and all the monarchs in the Green Tiger world to retreat. The 2nd and 4th patriarchs were dead, and the 5th patriarch was the weakest among them. If he stayed, he would die with the other 2 patriarchs. In fact, the 5th patriarch had already escaped. After the 4th patriarch was killed by Lu Li, he started to retreat immediately. He was only an early-stage Saint King, and the 2nd and 4th patriarchs were killed so easily. If he dared to stay, he would be dead for sure. He also gave the order to retreat. After he left the Green Tiger world, he realized that only 13 monarchs had returned. The rest were all dead. Not just one warrior, but a major race. Patriarch 5 was frightened. It seemed that it was not one person who killed the blood race here, but a major race of the Green Tiger world. Otherwise, how could the 2nd and 4th patriarchs be killed so easily? "Let's go." Patriarch 5 waved his hand, and the battleship flew away toward the accumulating Yuan universe. He dared not to stay any longer. Lu Li had been tracking for half a day, but he couldn't find the remaining Saint King. However, Brother 3 of the Guan family received a message. Guanyang noticed that the remaining Saint King had retreated and some other monarchs had run away as well. Only some monarchs were left. "They're walking pretty fast, huh?" Lu Li touched his nose and flew the holy mountain into the small city. He asked Brother 3 of the Guan family to send a message to Guanyang to see him. Lu Li wanted to know the details. Whoosh! Before they arrived at the small city, they saw a man flying over. As soon as he got closer, someone shouted, "Bastard! Where are you going this time? Mountain Man Mu Yishan?" Lu Li was surprised. He didn't expect that Mountain Man Mu Yishan would come after him. Lu Li's eyes grew colder. He stopped the holy mountain in midair and said coldly, "Mountain Man Mu Yishan, I just gave you some mystical water. Do you have to be so persistent? Truth be told, I just killed 2 Saint Kings of the blood race. If you want to die, I can beg you." Mountain Man Mu Yishan didn't get the message yet. He thought Lu Li was bluffing. Lu Li was a monarch realm warrior. If he could kill Saint Kings, he wouldn't have to run. He would have fought with Mountain Man Mu Yishan at the Mountain of Tiger. Mountain Man Mu Yishan snorted and said, "Bastard, don't talk nonsense. I will destroy your soul." "Okay," Lu Li replied casually. "I am right here. If you have the guts, break down my sacred mountain and kill me." Boom, 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 boom. Mountain Man Mu Yishan kept attacking, but the holy mountain remained unharmed. Lu Li didn't do anything. He didn't want to waste the purple divine liquid and the poisonous liquid. He just let the holy mountain float in midair and let Mountain Man Mu Yishan attack. After an hour, Nothing happened to the holy mountain. Luli shouted, "What do you think? Do you surrender? Old dog, if you have any other tricks up your sleeves, then use them all. If you don't have any, then scram back to your Mount Mystic Tiger. Or I will go to your mountain of Tiger and destroy your mystical water." Mountain Man Mu Ishan flew into a rage. He released more than a dozen powerful attacks, but still couldn't crack the holy mountain. Luli didn't want to play with him anymore. He flew the holy mountain away, heading toward the mountain of Tiger. This speed, the holy mountain was flying at full speed. It was so fast that Mountain Man Mu Ishan was dumbfounded. Finally, Mountain Man Mu Ishan was panicking. Last time, Luli snuck into the mountain of Tiger with ease. Now that Luli was so fast, he could reach the mountain of Tiger before Mountain Man Mu Ishan. If the mystical water was destroyed, then Mountain Man Mu Ishan would suffer a great loss. Chapter 31:20. Luli didn't go to the mountain of Tiger God. Destroying the pond of Tiger God would incur public anger. This was a land of treasure given by heaven and earth. Usually, when two forces were at war, both sides would choose to stay away from the land of treasure. They would not destroy these godly lands. Even if this faction was annihilated, they would not think of destroying these treasure lands. Many lands of treasure were blessings from heaven. Destroying these lands of treasure would leave a bad name for thousands of years. What was more, even if the land of treasure was lost for the time being, they could get it back when the race grew stronger. If the land of treasure was destroyed, then everyone would be gone. Luli went around and entered a city. He changed his appearance using skill of transformation and asked Brother 3 of the Guan family to send a message to Guanyang. Mu Ishan was not of the blood race, so he couldn't sense Luli's presence. Guanyang teleported back after 7 or 8 days. Luli came out and asked about the blood race. According to Guanyang, all the blood race had retreated. There wouldn't be any blood race in the Cyan Tiger region for a while. But Guanyang got another piece of information. It seemed that a major race was secretly investigating them. The warriors that Guanyang left at the mountain of Qingyun said that many warriors had sneaked into the mountain of Qingyun. If it weren't for Lu Li's divine patterns, the scouts would have searched the entire mountain of Qingyun. In the small cities near the mountain of Qingyun, there were many scouts asking about them as well. Luli nodded. The blood race was wiped out, and the blood race was attacking outside. Mu Ishan was involved. It was normal that the major races were paying attention to them. They couldn't stay at the Cyan Tiger region any longer. The Holy Mountain was a piece of treasure. It was fast and strong in defense. Mu Ishan had been attacking it for a long time, but he couldn't crack it. There were scouts nearby. It was possible that many major races and old demons were coveting it. It is time to leave. Luli thought about it and ordered, "Go and do one last search. Find out everything about the blood race. Find out the location of each branch, the number of powerful warriors, and the layout of the mountain. Then we will leave at once." Okay. Guanyang bowed. Luli gave him 2 more interspatial rings. Guanyang waved his hand and said, "Lord, it is okay. I still have many celestial stones. I told you to take it, so take it." Luli said in an irrefutable tone, "When we kill all the blood race, we will have celestial stones." That's right. Guanyang's face lit up with joy. The vampires were like starving camels. Even though they had declined, the clan's wealth couldn't be lacking, especially the branch in the Jiyuan realm. It was said that they were the seeds left behind in the past, but they escaped from the 4th heaven with countless riches. Luli continued to wait. Guanyang called all his brothers back. At the same time, he paid a huge price to find out more about the blood race from the insect race's Chamber of Commerce. Oh, on the other hand, the insect experts were overjoyed when they received the news. Both sides were asking them for information. This was business that was delivered to them. They were helping the vampires investigate Guanyang's situation, but Guanyang's group had come knocking on their door. The commander personally appeared, chatting with Guanyang while trying to get some information out of him. The insect race was one of the strongest races in the Tianwan galaxy, and the leader of the insect race in the Green Tiger world was a Saint Emperor. Guanyang was flattered. Normally, He wouldn't even have the chance to meet such a big shot. Guanyang didn't expect that the patriarch of the insect race was here to get information from him. To him, the insect race was a giant. If the insect race wanted to deal with Lu Li in them, they wouldn't need to resort to any tricks. One word from the insect race, and they would all die. Guanyang also collected detailed information. The insect race provided him with the exact locations of more than a dozen branches of the blood race, the distribution of their strength, and the layout of their headquarters. Guanyang went back with satisfaction, and so did the insect leader, for he had gained a lot of information. Based on the information, the insect leader confirmed that there was a powerful warrior behind Guanyang, a Saint Emperor, a very powerful one. The two Saint Emperors of the blood race were killed by him. Also, this powerful warrior had a powerful artifact. Not even Mui Shan and the others could do anything to Lu Li. Also, there was some other information, which was enough to earn a large amount of celestial stones from the blood race. Two sides. The insect race loved to do things like this. They would not help anyone, but they would help anyone. They wouldn't get involved in the war between the two sides. But if the two sides needed information, as long as there were celestial stones, they could do anything. It was because of this independence that the insect race enjoyed a high status in the chaotic star region. They never got involved in the wars between the major races. If some major races or old demons were to mess with them, they would fight to the death. Guanyang reported the information to Lu Li after he came back. He also brought back a complete map of the chaotic star regions. Every region was marked on the map, as well as the major forces and dangerous old demons. The map was very precious and cost a lot of celestial stones to make. This was one of the ways for the insect race to earn celestial stones. Since the forces and the old demons were changing, the map would be updated every once in a while. Lu Li looked at the map and said with a frown, "The branches of the blood race are not far from each other." According to the map, more than a dozen branches were distributed in 8 realms, and the 3 largest branches were in 3 different realms. However, these 3 interfaces were right next to each other. It felt like an iron triangle. The rest of the veins were distributed near these 3 veins. They were basically not far from each other, and there were even a few veins in the same realm. Yes, Guanyang explained, in the old days, the blood race didn't spread out too much. After all, they had a lot of enemies. They were all gathered in one area, so they could help each other when they were attacked. Lu Li stared at the map for a long time. Then he pointed to a region and said, "Let's go there." Mingyuan region? Guanyang was confused. This was a small region, and there was only one branch of the blood race here. Wasn't Lu Li afraid of alerting the enemy? In Guanyang's opinion, they should sneak over and kill a few blood race holy emperors. Just like Lu Li's strategy, they should kill all the powerful ones one by one. The rest of the blood race would be like fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered. Sneak attack? Hearing Guanyang's question, Lu Li looked at him as if he was an idiot and said, "I have blood marks on me. Once I get close to the blood race, I will be noticed." Are you stupid? Sneak attack? The reason why we're going to the Mingyuan region first is to take them down one by one. Encircle them and attack their reinforcements. Do you understand? I don't think you understand, given your intelligence. Lord, I was thinking too much. Guanyang touched his nose embarrassedly. His habitual thinking made him forget about the blood marks. He thought about it, and his eyes glowed. With the death of 2 Saint Kings, the other side must be on high alert. If they wanted to kill all the powerful warriors of the blood race, they would have a chance only when they were in chaos. Lu Li's strategy was the best. Chapter 31-21. Ji-Yuan World, Blood Mist Mountains. At this moment, it could be said that a large number of experts had gathered here. This was because the experts of the other 2 branches, as well as the clan kings of the nearby branches with slightly stronger experts, had all arrived. They had all been summoned by the Blood Soul Jade. Everyone is here. Let's begin. Blood Soul Jade waved his hand, and a jade scroll appeared in the Grand Elder's hand. He stood in the middle of the hall and said, "This is the latest information from the insect race. It contains information about our enemy." All the experts looked at him, and the Grand Elder explained, "This expert appeared out of nowhere. No one knows what race he is from or what his name is. Let's call him a mysterious expert for now. This mysterious expert suddenly appeared in the Green Tiger world and entered Mount Xinyan. He took Guan Yang and the others under him. The Grand Elder paused and continued. It all started because of Guan Yang's brothers. He had a conflict with the grandson of the Grand Elder of the blood race. Then, the blood race killed a few of Guan Yang's brothers. Guan Yang and the others took revenge and started a war. The mysterious expert was alerted. The mysterious expert made a move and the blood race was exterminated. Everyone knows what happened after that. According to the information provided by the insect race, the mysterious expert has left the Green Tiger world. Guan Yang and the others were also taken away by him. They are now flying towards us. They even got the insect race to investigate us. All the information showed that the mysterious expert is heading towards us. He wants to uproot the entire blood race and erase us from this world. Wah! As the Grand Elder finished his words, the entire hall was in an uproar. Especially the last sentence. The experts couldn't hold back their killing intent. Erase the entire blood race from this world? The blood race would become history. Not only would they die, they would also die without descendants. Kill him. No matter who he is, we must kill him. A blood race expert shouted. His face was filled with malevolence, and he shouted, "Annihilate our race? Then we must kill him at all costs." Blood Dragon, sit down. Blood Soul Jade waved his hand and said, "Of course we know we must kill him. But how? That is the problem. I sent out 3 elders, but 2 of them are dead, and the last one is on his way back. This mysterious powerhouse is very strong, but we don't know exactly what level of powerhouse he is. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will always be victorious. What if he is a powerhouse infinitely close to the great perfection realm? Do you think we can kill him with just a few shouts? Infinitely close to great perfection." Blood Dragon's eyes were filled with terror as he said, "That's impossible. If it was an expert of such a level, why would he need to go through so much trouble? I'm afraid they've already killed their way here, right? Everything is possible." The first elder said, "According to the news from the Green Tiger realm, our clan's second elder was killed by him in one move. You should know about our clan's second elder's combat power, right? Even if my clan king wanted to kill him in one move, he wouldn't be able to do it." The expressions of the other experts all changed. The Blood Soul Jade was a late Saint King, but was indeed unable to kill the second elder in a single strike. Lu Li's battle prowess should be above the Blood Soul Jade's. Beyond late Saint King was the battle prowess that was infinitely close to great perfection. If Lu Li really had such abilities, then it would be a nightmare for the entire blood race. No matter what realm he is at, an elder of the blood race stood up and said, "We must go all out in this fight. We must kill him at all costs. If he doesn't die, then our race will perish forever." "That's right." The Blood Soul Jade stood up and said, "We must stick together in order to get through this together. I'm going to pay a huge price to hire some old demons to help me. I need all of you to work together. Of course, we will pay 60% of the cost, and you guys can pull the rest. Do you have any objections?" "I have no objections." "No problem." The major races responded. This was a matter of life and death. If their races were destroyed, then what was the point of keeping celestial stones and other valuables? The Blood Soul Jade had agreed to pay 60% of the cost. They didn't have much to share. They were not sure that they could kill Lu Li, so they had to spend a large amount of celestial stones and money to hire powerful warriors. The Chaotic Star region didn't have many things except for the old demons. Many old demons didn't have territories or forces, but cultivation required a huge amount of wealth. What could they do? First, they could rob. Second, they could do private work for the major races. They couldn't hire warriors that were infinitely close to the absolute realm, but they could hire old demons of the later stage of Saint King. When they escaped from the fourth heaven, they brought many treasures with them. Though they had used up a lot of treasures over the years, there were still some treasures left. I know there are 3 brothers. All of them are at the later stage of Saint King. When they worked together, They're no weaker than warriors that are infinitely close to the absolute realm. If we can get them a help, this will be settled. The blood-souled Jade put on a cold smile. The other Saint King's eyes lit up and said, Soul Jade, you mean the Les Han 3? Yes. Blood-souled Jade nodded and said, It's them. I had a period of friendship with the three of them all those years ago. Moreover, I know that the three of them urgently need a rare divine material, and they're developing a heaven-defined divine pill. If we buy some of this material and ask them to help, I think this will not be a problem. TSK, the Les Han 3. With the help of the three, why should we be afraid of that bastard from the Green Tiger world? The Les Han 3 are indeed strong. Back then, the three brothers worked together to fight against Old Freak Xie and retreated with ease. Old Freak Xie is famous for being infinitely close to the absolute realm. That's right. With the help of the three, the outcome will be settled. The group of powerful warriors agreed and felt relieved. Lu Li killed the second patriarch, which gave them a lot of pressure. It was okay to spend some celestial stones and treasures. They had occupied a piece of territory, and they could slowly accumulate more later. I suggest. The Blood Soul Jade raised his hand and said, Before this matter is settled, all of our races should gather at the Blood Fog Mountains and concentrate on defense. At that time, let the Les Han 3 come here to guard. In this way, the enemy will not have a chance. If your territory is occupied by other races, we can go back and take it down together. The Blood Soul Jade suggestion made the other powerful warriors hesitate. First, it would be troublesome if the whole race migrated. Second, once they left, their territory would be occupied by other forces or powerful warriors. Even if they could get it back, they might suffer great damage. Fortify the walls and clear the fields. Had it really come to this? If Lu Li was only a powerful warrior who was infinitely close to the absolute realm, they would accept it. Was it worth paying such a big price for some groundless information? They didn't say anything. The Blood Soul Jade sighed when the powerful warriors didn't agree. He had a bad feeling. Maybe this was really a disaster for the blood race. P.S. Chapter 4. Chapter 31-22. Bomandala City, Region of Darkness. Lu Li was sitting in a tea house. Guan Yang and the others were taken into the sacred mountain. Lu Li used skill of transfiguration to sneak into the region of darkness. He was not in a hurry to take action. Instead, he wanted to check out the situation first. The situation was not clear. The blood race had been keeping a low profile. They had been holing up in their base camp. There was no news from the other branches. Lu Li decided to take action after sitting in the tea house for half a day. He had to kill the blood race sooner or later anyway. He might as well wipe out this race first. The demonic nature in Lu Li's soul was still strong. He was not against the idea of wiping out the blood race. Back in the days, Xiao Mo said that his worms could purify the demonic nature in Lu Li's soul. But it would take some time. Lu Li's mind had not changed yet. He was the same as before. Lu Li changed his appearance and flew toward the branch of the blood race. It took him several days to arrive. This was a huge valley. According to the information, there were nearly 10,000 blood race here, and 7 or 8 of them were at the Great Emperor realm. This was the weakest of the blood race. The most powerful one was only at the later stage of the Great Emperor realm. Lu Li did not want to take part in a fight of this level. When he was near the valley, he let Blood Fairy out to solve the runes in the valley. He stood on a tall mountain outside the valley, looking down at the huge valley. 2 hours later, Blood Fairy said, Master, it's done. You can take it down at any time. Buzzing, Lu Li let Guan Yang and his brothers out. Pointing to the valley, he said, There are 7 or 8 of them at the Great Emperor realm and nearly 10,000 of the blood race. But I don't think there are any at the peak of the Great Emperor realm. Go and flatten the valley. If any of the blood race escapes, let them go. Yes. Guan Yang and his brothers bowed. They were fearless as long as Lu Li was here. The several Great Emperor realm warriors dashed out like tigers. Lu Li did not go over. He was monitoring the entire valley. He did not want anything to happen to Guan Yang and his brothers. He would need them later. Boom, boom, boom. Soon, the fight began. Guanyang slapped down a hand shadow. Though the blood race warriors that came out from the valley were neutralized, the force still caused many houses to collapse. There had been a defense matrix outside the valley, but it had been quietly broken by Blood Fairy. Who are you? How dare you attack the Blood Clan? You're courting death. Everyone, kill them. We're the Blood Race. We have a dozen or so branches nearby, and there are quite a few Saint Kings among us. You're courting death if you dare attack us. Hurry up and send a message to the experts of the other branches. Ask the Saint King ancestors to descend and rip these bastards to shreds. The valley was in chaos. Most of the vampires here had low combat strength and were killed by Guanyang's group. The battle had only been going on for an incense stick's worth of time, but thousands of blood race emperors had already died. Luli stood there expressionlessly, watching Guanyang and the others kill mercilessly. His mind was as calm as an ancient well. In his mind, if the Blood Clan wanted to kill him, then the entire Blood Clan would be his enemy. If the Blood Clan was not destroyed, then he would be in great danger. Therefore, he had to do everything he could to destroy the Blood Clan. Every man for himself will be destroyed by heaven and earth. That was the law of survival in this world. There was no morality in this world. Those who were moral could not survive. To become stronger, to live a better life, to have no one in the world that could threaten your life and safety, then the only way was to advance step by step over the dead bodies of your enemies. There were 7 or 8 Saint Kings, but none of them were at the peak. Guanyang fought off 4 or 5 of them, which made things easier for Guanhe and the others. From the very beginning, they had the upper hand and were gradually suppressing the blood race. 2 hours later, the battle came to an end. Apart from 1 Saint Kings and several Saint Kings who escaped, the rest of the blood race were killed. Many buildings in the valley were in ruins. Bones were piled up in the valley. Blood dyed the ground red. The valley was about to become a graveyard. Guanyang was wounded, and another one of the Saint Kings was seriously injured. His other brothers were all wounded as well. Guanyang ordered his brothers, who were less injured, to scour the entire valley and collect all the valuables. This was a relatively weak branch of the blood race, but it was still a blood race with considerable wealth. Luli didn't take the treasures Guanyang collected. He let them into the sacred mountain and left quietly. 1 Saint King and several Saint Kings escaped from the valley. Luli didn't go after them or follow them. Needless to say, Luli knew that they must be going to the accumulating Yuan region where the most powerful branch of the blood race resided. Luli left the accumulating Yuan region at once and went to his next target, a nearby region, the 5 Astral region. There was another branch there as well, a weak one. Luli planned to wipe it out one by one. He wondered if the powerful warriors of the blood race would come to their rescue. By the time Luli arrived at the 5 Astral region, the accumulating Yuan region had received the news. The Saint King that escaped had sent a message to a patriarch of the blood race at the accumulating Yuan region through a special means of communication. The Saint Kings and family patriarchs were all in the Blood Mist Mountains. They were shocked to hear the news. Some Saint Kings clamored to go after Lu, Li, and Guanyang. Blood Soul Jade had them under control. The 3 freaks of Mount Leshan hadn't arrived yet. Blood Soul Jade was afraid that Luli would come to the Blood Mist Mountains. What if they went after Luli and Guanyang were lured away? Some Saint Kings at the peak of the Blood Mist Mountains could no longer sit still. Their families live in a region near the accumulating Yuan region. If Lu Li and Guanyang went to a nearby region, then their families would be wiped out. After a moment of pleading, Blood Soul Jade didn't budge. The Saint Kings at the peak of the Blood Mist Mountains left. Blood Soul Jade asked them to relocate, but they didn't have the time to do so. What was more, a large family was flying in the void. If they were surrounded by Lu Li and Guanyang, they would still be doomed. One of the Saint Kings could no longer sit still. He left, saying that he was going to find out where Luli was. Blood Soul Jade sent out many scouts to the regions near the Blood Mist Mountains to see if they could find out where Luli was. At the same time, Blood Soul Jade sent out a chief patriarch to the insect race to ask them to find out where Luli was. Half a month later, Blood Soul Jade received a piece of news that made him lose his cool. The blood race in the 5-star region was wiped out. Their leader, a peak of the Saint King, had just come back. Coincidentally, he ran into Guan Yang slaughtering his people. Then, Lu Li took action and the peak of the Saint King was killed in an instant. There was no hurry to wipe out this branch. Guan Yang was still clamoring that their next target would be the branch of the blood race at the Dragon Spring region. This was a declaration of war. Many Saint Kings could no longer sit still. Their families could not relocate. If they waited here, the other branches would all be wiped out by Lu Li one by one. By that time, what would be the point of killing Lu Li? We will strike in 10 days. Blood Soul Jade said. The 3 freaks of Mount Lesan will be here in 10 days. I will leave Chief Patriarch and 3rd Patriarch here. The other powerful warriors will go to the Dragon Spring region and cut those bastards into pieces. Chapter 31:23. 10 days later, when the 3 freaks of Mountain arrived, Blood Soul Jade went to the Dragon Spring universe with most of the Saint Kings and waited outside the blood race. However, they waited for a month and a half. Lu Li and Guan Yang didn't attack. The scouts they sent out didn't find Lu Li and Guan Yang either. Blood Soul Jade and the other powerful warriors sensed where the blood print was. It was far away. Lu Li had skill of transfiguration and stealth. Even though he had the blood print, only powerful warriors of the blood race could sense it from a close distance. There were only a few powerful warriors of the blood race, and they were all gathered together. They could only vaguely sense the direction of the blood print, but not the exact location. Another 5 days later, Blood Soul Jade and the others almost lost their minds when they received a piece of news. Lu Li and Guan Yang had shown up, but they didn't go to the Dragon Spring universe. Instead, they went to the Bishu region and destroyed a branch of the blood race. Blood Soul Jade and the others were worried. Lu Li was creating a diversion. They only had 2 choices. The first was to go after Lu Li, and the second was to relocate the entire clan to the Blood Mist Mountain. Otherwise, if this continued, all of their branch martial artists would be annihilated. The powerful warriors discussed and decided to take 2 measures at the same time. Blood Soul Jade would lead the 3 freaks of Mountain to hunt down Lu Li, and the other powerful warriors would relocate all the branches to the void and then go to the Blood Mist Mountain together. They would relocate as fast as they could and put most of the blood race into their interspatial artifacts. In this way, it would be more difficult for Lu Li and Guan Yang to kill them. Besides, Blood Soul Jade and the 3 freaks of Mountain were chasing after Lu Li and Guan Yang. How could Lu Li and Guan Yang attack the branch of the blood race? The powerful warriors of the blood race split up. Blood Soul Jade went one way, and the other 7 Saint Kings went another. As for those overlords, they returned to their respective tribes, bringing all of their people with them and quickly gathering in the void. Blood Soul Jade was the most powerful warrior of the blood race, and he had the best sense of the blood print. He could vaguely tell where Lu Li was and went after him with the 3 freaks of Mountain. They are at the Blue Rain region. Blood Soul Jade's eyes glowed as they entered a region. The 3 freaks of Mountain followed behind him and smiled. The Blood Soul Jade helped them collect a rare material. In return, they helped the Blood Soul Jade kill Lu Li and Guan Yang. They were famous experts in the chaotic starfield, so they were very impatient with such trivial matters. Now that they had found Lu Li, they could put their minds at ease. As long as they could catch up with Lu Li, killing him would be a piece of cake. The Gui clan did not know the situation, but the enemy had come and attacked first. What could they do? They had no choice but to fight. Kill. The Blood Soul Jade had no other choice. He could not stand by even if he wanted to. There were more than a dozen Saint Kings of the Gui clan. Deep down, he was bewildered. Could it be that the Gui clan was behind this incident against the Blood clan? Something is wrong. We have been tricked. After a while, the Blood Soul Jade found that the 2 warriors with the blood print were moving away quickly. His speed became faster and faster, and in just a moment, He had left the mountain range and was flying into the distance. If Luli was from the Gue clan, he should have joined the Gue clan to kill them. Luli was not weak. He could kill their second patriarch in an instant. With Luli's help, the Gue clan would be even more powerful. But Luli left? The Saint Kings of the Gue clan were angry and confused. Therefore, the Blood Soul Jade speculated that the Gue clan must have been used by Luli. Luli snuck in here quietly and triggered a war between them and the Gue clan. Stop fighting. We have all been tricked. The Blood Soul Jade shouted, but the Gue clan would not listen to him. The three freaks of Lesan had already injured one of their patriarchs. The powerful warriors of the Gue clan were enraged and attacked with full force. The three freaks of Lesan also felt something was wrong. They understood what Blood Soul Jade said, but the Gue clan was fighting with all their might. What could they do? Their hearts were also filled with anger. A large clan that was past its prime dared to tell them to scram. If they did not teach the Gue clan a lesson, they would not leave. Hundreds of thousands of miles to the north, Luli stopped in midair on the holy mountain. He looked at the sky in the south being torn apart and the booming sounds. He smiled with satisfaction. He knew that the powerful warriors of the blood race would come after him. The hiding place of the Gue clan was found by Guan Yang from the insect race just for this day. Let's go. Luli didn't care about the result of the battle here. He flew out of the void quickly, ready to wash the other branches with blood. Chapter 31:24. Luli's strategy was to besiege the enemy and wait for reinforcements. But how to do that was a matter of technique. When Luli learned from the insect race that there was a hidden race here, he was intrigued. He snuck in. Though there were powerful runes here, it was a piece of cake for Blood Fairy. Luli only snuck in and did not attack or do anything else, which made things easier. The art of concealment was powerful. Only a warrior that was close to the complete level could detect him. Therefore, Luli snuck into the source mountain without being noticed. But he did not go to the place where the race lived. He stayed in the periphery. Luli made up his mind that if the blood race only had some average Saint Kings and they did not dare to provoke the Guis, then he would go after them and kill them. If the Saint Kings of the blood race were more powerful, then he would let them fight the Guis while he would go and purge the other branches. The Guis did not disappoint him. They fought with Blood Soul Jade at once. It all depended on whether they could kill Blood Soul Jade and the others. Luli was afraid of the three freaks of Lesan. He sensed danger from the three powerful warriors. He was not sure that he could kill the three. I don't think they are of the blood race. I don't sense any energy of the blood race. Are they helpers? Luli thought to himself as he flew the holy mountain. It was highly possible. After all, the blood race used to be powerful. It was normal for them to know some old demons. Besides, the blood race must be wealthy. It was easy for them to offer some treasures and ask the old demons for help. Luli entered a nearby region. There was a branch of the blood race here, a powerful one. Their leader was a Saint King. 7 or 8 days later, Luli found the place where the blood race was. It was a small city controlled by that branch of the blood race. What? Luli was taken aback by the fact that he couldn't sense a single blood race in the city. The city was in chaos as well. Many castles were empty. What is going on? Have they run away? Luli checked again. Then he went to a tavern in the city and asked around. After a while, he left the city and quickly flew towards the nearby big city. According to the news they received from the city, the Blood Tribe had all left in a hurry. They didn't even have time to take the divine medicine in their fields with them. Now, many warriors have begun to rob the resources and treasures of the blood race. In any case, they would just run away after stealing it. At most, they would just leave this realm. The vampires weren't some super race, so they couldn't possibly hunt them all over the world, could they? Everyone evacuate. If so, all the blood race would evacuate. Luli wanted to go to the insect race's chamber of commerce to get some accurate information. He wanted to know where the blood race would evacuate to. The insect race didn't disappoint him. They gave him accurate information, but Luli had to pay a hefty price. Not only this side, but the rest of the Blood Clan had also evacuated. At this moment, they were all in the void, retreating toward the accumulative essence realm. Yuan realm. Luli pulled a long face. If the blood race were to escape to the accumulating energy universe, it would be hard for him to destroy the blood race. All the powerhouses and helpers of the blood clan were gathered in the accumulating Yuan realm. How could he destroy them all by himself? He wasn't an expert who was infinitely close to the great perfection realm. Therefore, he must kill the blood race in the void. If he didn't, it would be more troublesome if they went to the accumulating energy universe. He didn't hesitate for long. He flew up to the void and headed toward the accumulating energy universe. Whether he could kill the blood race or not, he must catch up with them and find out how they were doing so that he could formulate a plan. The holy mountain was fast. He wasn't afraid that the blood race would notice him. If he couldn't defeat them, he could just retreat. Luli flew toward the accumulating energy universe in a straight line. The blood race here must be heading there as well. Theoretically speaking, Luli was fast. The blood race had only been gone for a couple of days. He should be able to catch up with them soon. He was lucky. 5 days later, he found a battleship in front of him. There was no symbol of the blood race on the battleship, and there were only a dozen warriors on board. Even so, Luli was sure that the battleship belonged to the blood race. He was sure because there was a Saint King of the blood race and more than a dozen warriors of the blood race on board. The Saint King and the Saint King were nervous. They had been checking around. Even the Saint King was nervous. He was checking with psychic power. Under normal circumstances, the Saint King and the Saint King would not be so nervous. But they were too nervous. There must be a large number of their people in their interspatial artifacts. They were afraid of death. If they died, all of their people would not survive. Luli took out a battleship and changed his appearance to that of an insect. He took out a battleship and swaggered toward the blood race's battleship. Luli had used ethereal concealment, so the Saint King didn't notice him. As soon as Luli showed up, he was noticed. Insect race. The Saint King and the Saint King and the Saint King were surprised. Why would an insect race be here and coming toward them? Did he have something important to tell them? The Saint King knew about the cooperation between the Blood Soul Jade and the insect race. The insect race was a super race. Even though this insect was only at the peak of the Saint King's level, the Saint King of the blood race could not afford to be careless. He stopped the battleship and walked over with a smile. When he was 10,000 feet away from the Saint King, Luli suddenly launched an attack. 2 rays of golden light shot out from his eyes as he released a formation. At the same time, he used Soul of Wind to attack the other Saint King's souls. He had consumed the purple divine liquid, and his soul was strong. His Soul of Wind was 100 times stronger. The Saint King of the blood race blacked out, and his soul was sealed. Luli hacked at the Saint King with Emperor Yang's halberd. The poisonous liquid started to attack the Saint King. Soon, he let out a cry of agony, and his body was melting. You are not an insect. The Saint King finally came back to his senses, and he shouted in agony. The other Saint King hugged their heads and rolled in the air. Luli's sacred mountain glowed. Guanyang and the others came out. Luli waved his hand and said, "Go and kill them. There must be many blood race civilians in their interspatial artifacts. Kill them all." Okay. Guanyang led the other Saint King's warriors and charged over. Those Saint King's warriors were killed easily. The interspatial rings fell off, and Guanyang and the others collected them. There was an interspatial artifact in the Saint King's interspatial ring. Guanyang took it out and found more than 10,000 blood race civilians. A glint of cruelty rose in Guanyang's eyes. He used his origin energy to crush the interspatial artifact. When the interspatial artifact exploded, all the blood race civilians in it would be killed by the twisting force of space. They would disappear from this world forever. Let's go. Guanyang and the others cleaned up the battlefield, put away their battleships, and burned the corpses. Luli waved his hand, put Guanyang and the others into the sacred mountain, and left. He had to seize the time and kill as many blood race branches as possible before they entered the accumulating Yuan universe. The more he killed, the easier it would be for him. The more blood race that escaped into the blood mist mountains, the more pressure he would face. Chapter 3125. The Blood Soul Jade felt like it was going crazy. The Leson Three Freaks were called the Three Freaks because of their strange tempers. There was no need to start a war with the Gouet clan. However, the Three Freaks of Leson insisted on fighting. In the end, they won. They killed 4 Saint Emperors of the Gouet clan and seriously injured the rest. The Gouet clan was completely defeated. They knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. They took out a large amount of wealth from their clan to beg the Three Freaks of Leson to let them go. The problem was that Blood Soul Jade and the Three Freaks of Leson were injured. Blood Soul Jade was seriously injured. 2 of the Three Freaks of Leson were seriously injured, and only the eldest was slightly injured. Being injured was not a big deal. He just had to find a place to hide and recover. However, he received news that Lu Li and Guanyang had wiped out one of their branches and a Saint Emperor. He really wanted to rush to the void immediately. Without him and the Leson Three Freaks, he was afraid that the Divine Emperors would not be able to hold on. But the Three Freaks of Leson were not happy. They were injured. How could they dare to walk around without recovering? They had also offended many enemies over the years. The Blood Soul Jade could only accompany them to find a place to cultivate. It would not be of much help if he went alone. 3 days later, another grievous news arrived. Another branch of the blood race had been annihilated. Although no Saint Emperor had been killed, the number of blood race members in that branch was extremely large, more than 100,000. All of them were killed, not a single one was spared. This loss was too great. Even the Great Tao Blood Soul Jade could not sit still. There weren't many blood race members to begin with. They were scattered all over the realms in order to continue their lineage. It took so many years for the blood race to develop to this scale. Now, more than half of them had been wiped out by Lu Li. He couldn't sit still anymore and went to beg the Three Freaks of Leson to help, but they hadn't recovered yet and didn't give him face. Most importantly, the Blood Soul Jade did not understand the situation and allowed them to start a war with the Gouet tribe. If not for their strength, they would have all died on Great Source Mountain. They were here to help. The blood race wasn't their race, so they weren't in a hurry. If their injuries didn't recover and one of their brothers was killed, then what was the point of the blood race compensating them with celestial stones and divine materials? As the Blood Soul Jade waited anxiously, the Three Freaks of Leson took action after another 3 times and flew into the void with the Blood Soul Jade. At this moment, a chase broke out in the void. A person was chasing a group of experts. A huge battleship flew across the sky while Lu chased after it. Was on. The other branches had gathered together. With 6 Saint Emperors in command, Lu Li dared not to attack directly. He had to rely on the strong defense of the Sacred Mountain. When Lu Li first appeared, the 6 Saint Emperors had surrounded him. However, the 6 Saint Emperors could not break through the defense of the Sacred Mountain. On the other hand, Lu Li was able to trap a Saint King with soul attacks in the Sacred Mountain. That Saint King was almost killed by Lu Li and was saved by another Saint King. King experts of Star Lu were to Emperor Kings. Clan of Fighting broke. King was for Lu Li, King to say. Originally, the Saint Emperors could have stored all the Emperor-level experts into their interspatial divine equipment, but they were afraid that if they all died, the blood race and the interspatial divine equipment would be like fish on a chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered by Lu Li. Kings Saint Clan of King, Li Clan, for to be in race. And they were. Clan. They were. 2. To God. They were waiting for Blood Soul Jade and the Three Freaks of Leson to come. They believed that Lu Li wouldn't be able to escape. One of the blood race knew spatial principle. He could freeze space. Although Saint Mountain was fast, every time they got close, the space behind them would be frozen. That was why they were chasing each other. Saint Mountain was too fast for the blood race to get away. Lu Li couldn't get close either. He had to keep chasing. I can't go on like this. Lu Li was sad. How good would it be if he got Lady Li's armor? He would be able to withstand the attacks of a few Saint Emperors and go out to kill all of them. He could use the purple divine liquid to instantly trap a Saint Emperor, but the other Saint Emperors would definitely attack immediately. His defense could not withstand the attacks of the Saint Emperors, and at that time, he would be torn into pieces. Lady Li. Luli turned to Lady Li at the bottom of the pond and said, "I have something to discuss with you." Miss Li opened her eyes and looked up. She said indifferently, "What kind of trick do you want to play this time? Let me borrow your armor." Luli said bluntly, "There are 6 kings, saint kings out there. If I die, you will fall into their hands. There are many old demons here. Think about what will happen to you if you fall into their hands." Miss Li snorted and said, "I won't believe you no matter what you say. Also, this armor was refined by my ancestor for me alone. If I leave, this armor will explode by itself. It's useless even if you take it." "Really?" Luli was skeptical. There was such a miraculous armor? It would be destroyed once it left its owner? If Lady Li died, wouldn't the armor be destroyed as well? "Why would I lie to you?" Lady Li explained with a straight face. "There is a special rune formation in this armor. This rune formation is connected to my essence blood. Once I die, my essence blood will disappear and the rune formation will explode. The armor is strong, but when the rune formation explodes, all the rune formations will be destroyed. Do you think the armor will be of any use?" Luli told Blood Fairy what Lady Li said. After a moment of silence, Blood Fairy replied, "Master, it can be done. In theory, it is fine. I think I can build a rune formation like this." "Then never mind." Luli waved his hand, looked at Lady Li, and said, "You stay down there. If I die, you'll be harmed by the Asmodean as well." Lady Li did not believe him at all. She closed her eyes and ignored Luli. The rune of the Holy Mountain was strange. Lady Li did not believe that it could be cracked. If it were a warrior that was close to the consummate realm, then the rune formation could be cracked easily. But would a warrior of that level trouble a girl like her? Luli tried to approach the battleship several times. Every time, he was stopped by a king of the blood race's fundamental principle of space. The battleship was fast. In a blink, it had flown away. An hour later, Luli gave up. He thought about it and flew the Holy Mountain toward the accumulating energy universe. The Blood Soul Jade should still be in the Dun race's universe. There were 6 king of the blood race here. Almost all the powerful warriors of the blood race were outside. There must not be many king of the blood race staying at the Mountain of Blood Mist. Didn't the blood race here want to go to the Mountain of Blood Mist in the accumulating energy region? The Holy Mountain was fast. He would go to the Mountain of Blood Mist first and conquer it. Then, he would see where the blood race would go. The Mountain of Blood Mist was the base camp of the largest branch of the blood race. If the Mountain of Blood Mist was destroyed, then the blood race would have no base camp. The blood race would become rootless duckweed, drifting about. Sooner or later, Luli could wipe them out. P.S. Chapter 4. Chapter 31:26. Accumulating Energy Region, Blood Mist Mountain. They had already received the news that the Great Elder and the Fourth Elder had already raised the alert level to the highest and had already arranged more than 10 defensive lines. Chief Patriarch sent out more than 1,000 blood race elites to hide in the open and in the dark. Once a strange warrior came close, they would be discovered. At the same time, Chief Patriarch sent out some powerful warriors of the blood race to build some obscure runes around the Blood Mist Mountain. Many defensive runes were added to the mountain as well. The Blood Mist Mountain was heavily guarded. Not even a fly could sneak in. When Luli arrived, he also noticed that the Blood Mist Mountain was well defended. There was a scout in every 100 feet. Furthermore, there were hidden divine inscriptions everywhere. If it was an ordinary martial artist, or even a Saint Emperor, they would probably be discovered not long after entering. Luli was not a Saint Emperor, but he was not an average warrior either. He could sneak in easily. Blood Fairy pointed the way for him, and he used the divine hiding spell and the marks of the Great Path. Those scouts couldn't find him. He snuck in and began to sense the situation. He walked around for a few times. Making sure that there were only 2 Saint Emperors, Luli went out. Guanyang, later, you and Guan, he will lead a team and go in from 2 directions. Luli let Guanyang and the others out and gave them orders. Guanyang did not say anything, but he was worried. He knew that there must be Saint Emperors in the Blood Mist Mountain. If Guanyang and Guanyang went in separately, All of them would die if they encountered Saint Emperors. What are you panicking about? Idiots. Lu threw them a glance. You were just distracting them. There are only 2 Saint Emperors in there. By the time they attack you, I will have killed them. Guanyang and the others immediately felt ashamed. Guanyang quickly bowed and was about to say something when Lu waved his hand and said, "Make your move in half an hour. After I kill the 2 Saint Emperors, immediately kill all the blood race." Lu snuck in and hid at the highest peak. The 2 Saint Emperors were in there. Lu would kill them when the 2 Saint Emperors came out. Time moved on. An hour later, a ray of light suddenly rose from the south and north. Following that, 2 trails of smoke rose. The mountain was stirred. Many powerful psychic power came out, and many great Emperor Realm warriors flew up. The enemy is here. The 2 Saint Emperors also soared up into the air. They glanced at the surroundings, and the Grand Elder pointed to the north and spoke. "Third brother, go and control the runic inscriptions over there. I will go to the south to take a look. If you can't win, retreat immediately." The 3rd Elder turned into a beam of light and flew towards the north, followed by more than 10 Overlord stages. The Great Elder flew towards the south. Lu moved towards the south quietly. If he was going to kill someone, he must kill the most powerful one first. After he killed the Chief Patriarch, it would be much easier for 3rd Patriarch. Guanyang and the others were attacking from the south, but after killing some of the soldiers here, they immediately retreated. Lu's task was to draw the enemy away, not to actually attack. "Thief, you still want to escape?" Chief Patriarch shouted at Guanyang. Right at that moment, Lu made a move. He went to the sacred mountain and flew up in a blur. Boom! The sacred mountain was too fast. The Grand Elder had no way to avoid it and was sent flying by the sacred mountain. Chief Patriarch had been staring at Guanyang. He didn't know that a mountain was coming from behind. Before Chief Patriarch could react, Lu had dashed out from the sacred mountain and released a formation. Chief Patriarch felt time was blurring. Chief Patriarch's soul and strength were not bad. He sensed the danger. He swung his saber wildly in all directions. But Lu didn't get close. He just released his halberd, which contained 4 drops of poisonous liquid. Under the watchful eyes of many Overlord stage warriors and Blood Race warriors, Chief Patriarch's body was being corroded. He let out a miserable cry that was deafening. What? The 3rd Patriarch of the North had just locked onto Guan He and the others. They were all taken aback by the cry. When they checked with psychic power, they were shocked. There were only 2 Saint Emperors in the Blood Mist Mountains. Now, the most powerful one had been killed. Only 3rd Patriarch was left. How could he fight against Lu? Even Chief Patriarch was killed in an instant. 3rd Patriarch would also be killed in an instant if he were to face Lu. At this moment, the 3rd Elder couldn't care less about killing Guan He and the others. His eyes turned in a circle as hundreds of thoughts flashed through his mind. Soon, he made up his mind and roared, "All Blood Tribe members, listen to my command. Flee in all directions. Run as far as you can and find a place to hide. Wait for the Clan King to summon you and execute it immediately." They could not stop him. If they didn't run now, then all the Blood Race warriors would be slaughtered by Lu. Therefore, they had to take advantage of the chaos and run as many as they could. Lu only had a few warriors. No matter how strong he was, he could not stop all of them. Bastard, go to hell. With that said, 3rd Patriarch dashed toward Lu. He wanted to buy more time for the Blood Race warriors at the cost of his own life so that more of them could run away. Run! The Blood Race warriors didn't hesitate to obey 3rd Patriarch's order. They were frightened as well. Many of them didn't have the time to pack up. They flew up and fled to all directions. Some of the most powerful of the Blood Race warriors didn't run away. Instead, they charged toward Lu. They shared 3rd Patriarch's idea to buy more time for the Blood Race at the cost of their own lives. If they ran away, then more than half of the Blood Race warriors would be caught up and killed. Lu sneered. He was not afraid at all. He consumed another drop of purple divine liquid, even though he would be weakened later on. That being said, he couldn't worry about that now. He had to kill this Saint Emperor and razed the blood mist mountain to the ground first. Under the use of the purple divine liquid, the third elder fell for it. The spirit array technique sealed his soul, and the rest was easy to deal with. Luli couldn't afford to be careless when there were so many Saint Emperors around. He went into the mountain and dashed toward Third Patriarch. Then he dashed out and killed Third Patriarch with the venom. Charge! Guanyang and the others were relieved. They began their slaughter. 2 Saint Emperors were killed, and most of the powerful Saint Emperors were around Luli. They could kill the Blood Race warriors at will. They didn't target the Saint Emperors of the Blood Race. Instead, they went for the average ones. There were hundreds of thousands of the Blood Race in the Blood Mist Mountain. They were running to all directions. If they were to attack the Saint Emperors, it would be a waste of time, and a large number of the Blood Race would run away. They used area of effect skills and killed a large number of Blood Race warriors. They were seasoned warriors, and they didn't show any mercy when they killed the average Blood Race warriors. In a time for a dozen breaths, they had killed tens of thousands of Blood Race warriors. The entire Blood Mist Mountain was shrouded in a mist of blood, turning it into a real mountain of blood. Please remember this book's original domain name. Third Patriarch's mobile version. Chapter 31:27. More than 2 hours later, Luli left with Guanyang and the others. The Blood Mist Mountain behind them had been leveled to the ground. All the buildings were destroyed, and all the farms were destroyed. The main peak in the middle was smashed by Luli's halberd. The Blood Mist Mountain was as good as gone. The formations were all destroyed by Blood Fairy. It was easier to destroy than to rebuild. To restore the Blood Mist Mountain would require a great deal of manpower and resources. At least, to restore the farms would be even more arduous. Not all the Blood Race were killed. At least half of them managed to escape. Many of them were at the Great Emperor realm, but there was no other way. So many of the Blood Race fled together. Luli and Guanyang could not kill all of them unless they spent a lot of time and energy hunting them down. Luli did not have the time to hunt them down. Blood Soul Jade and the others would be hopping mad after the Blood Mist Mountain was destroyed. If he stayed in the accumulating energy region, he would be hunted down by all the Saint Kings. Luli asked Brother 6 of the Guan family to stay and hide in a small city to gather information. Luli taught Brother 6 of the Guan family a disguise skill. Luli did not teach him the art of disguise, and Brother 6 of the Guan family could not learn it in a short time. But regular disguise skills were easy. Brother 6 of the Guan family did not need to gather too much information. He only needed to find out the general situation of the Blood Race. Half a day after Luli left, Blood Soul Jade and the others received the news. Blood Soul Jade flew into a rage. His eyes were bloodshot and his facial muscles were twisted. He was like a lunatic. He could not help but be angry. His immediate descendants were unlucky. More than half of them were killed. One of them was his favorite and valued great-grandson. Blood Soul Jade believed that this great-grandson was the hope of the Blood Race. He was talented and at the latter stage of the Sixth Tribulation. It was only a matter of time before he reached the Saint King realm. Most importantly, the Blood Mist Mountain had been destroyed, along with many blessed lands, herb fields, and caves. This was something that their branch of the Blood Clan had spent hundreds of thousands of years to build. Now that it had been completely destroyed, it meant that their foundation had been destroyed as well. How could he remain calm? Apart from shouting, there was nothing else he could do. He rushed toward the accumulating energy region as fast as he could. The Blood Race in the Void received the news as well. At first, they were shocked, then scared, and in the end, confused. According to the original plan, they should go to the Blood Mist Mountains and gather together to defend themselves. Now that the Blood Mist Mountains were gone, what was the point of going there? However, if they didn't go to the Blood Mist Mountains, where could they go? Could it be that he had been floating in the void all along? Let's go to the Blood Mist Mountain range to take a look first and gather with the Blood Soul Jade to discuss this. One of the Saint Emperors shook his head. His eyes were filled with sadness. Blood Soul Jade and the 3 freaks of Leshan had chased after Lu Li for so long. Not only did they fail to kill Lu Li, but Luli even attacked their battleship. Now, they were slaughtering in the Blood Mist Mountain range, but they could do nothing about it. At this rate, the Blood Race would be wiped out sooner or later. They were not far from the Accumulative Essence realm. It only took them more than a day to enter the Accumulative Essence realm. Then, they rushed all the way to the Blood Mist Mountains. At this moment, there were already some vampires gathered in the Blood Mist Mountains. Some of them returned and began to collect the corpses. The mountainside was filled with corpses, and many of them were mutilated. It was a tragic sight. After another half a day, Blood Soul Jade and the others arrived. Blood Soul Jade was trembling with anger. He was overcome with sorrow when he saw the corpses of his 2 patriarchs and many of his immediate descendants. The other blood race helped to collect the corpses and bury them. A group of powerful warriors gathered together and went into an interspatial artifact. Inside was a hall. Kill them at all costs, or the blood race will be wiped out. Blood Soul Jade shouted, clenching his teeth. The other Saint Emperors of the blood race nodded in agreement. If they could not kill Luli, they would never have a day of peace. Therefore, they must kill Luli at all costs. I suggest, one of the Saint Emperors suggested, let's find a place for our people, and then all of us will go after them. We will not stop until we kill them. Find a place? The other Saint Emperors agreed with this suggestion. As long as the rear was secure, they could go after Luli without any scruples. Previously, when they were in the void, Luli didn't dare to attack with full force. What did that mean? It meant that Luli was not a warrior close to the absolute completion. Therefore, as long as they went after Luli, it was still possible that they could kill Luli. But here was the problem. How are they going to find a place for their people? They couldn't put them all in an interspatial artifact, could they? That might not be safe. The space in an interspatial artifact was not spacious enough. Staying in it for too long would lead to panic and depression. What was more, when the space in an interspatial artifact was shaken, the blood race in it could be shaken out. By then, they would die one after another. There is a secret realm near the Blood Mist Mountain. Only the higher-ups of our race know about it. Blood Soul Jade suggested, but another Saint Emperor shook his head and said, once this kind of mystic realm is discovered by the enemy, all the Blood Clan members inside will die. When that time comes, all of our clansmen will die. What's the point of leaving us old men behind? That's true. The Saint Emperors nodded. Blood Soul Jade thought for a while and said, then how about we send our people to the insect race's territory? The Ji-Yuan realm's insect race has a mine here. We can send our people to their mine. I think as long as we are willing to pay the price, the insect race will agree. That's right. The other Saint Emperors nodded. As long as the insect race was willing, their people would be safe. The insect race was a super race. Who would dare to make trouble in their territory? Even if Luli had taken their mines and killed their people, Luli would not be able to live. The insect race would not let him go. I will go and contact the insect race, Blood Soul Jade said. He said to his Saint Emperor Realm warrior, go and gather all our people back. We will go to the insect race's territory together. Many of their people had escaped, and Blood Soul Jade was afraid that they would be killed. It was better to gather them back. Blood Soul Jade was confident that he could negotiate with the insect race. Apart from being involved in wars, the insect race did all kinds of business. As long as there were celestial stones, everything was negotiable. Just as he expected, when Blood Soul Jade went to the insect race's leader and stated his intention, the insect race agreed right away. But the price was harsh. 1 celestial stone per month. Blood Soul Jade agreed reluctantly. Even though the Blood Mist Mountain was destroyed, he had most of the wealth with him. He could afford the celestial stones. What was more, he could ask the other branches to share the burden. If the entire blood race was gone, what was the point of having so much wealth? The people of the blood race were the most precious. After a month of hard work, the blood race's people were settled down. Blood Soul Jade, the other 7 Saint Emperors, and the 3 Freaks of Mountain left the void and started to track down Luli. They could sense Li's general location through the blood seal and track him down. The 3 Freaks of Mountain were trustworthy. They would not stop until they killed Luli. Last time, They were set up by Luli at the Duan race. They wanted to cut Luli into pieces as well. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 31:28. Things are getting tricky. Blood Soul Jade and the others placed all the blood race in the minds of the insect race. Soon, Luli received the news through Brother 6 of the Guan family. It was easy to find out. The blood race was a major race in the accumulative energy universe. How could the accumulative energy universe not be concerned about the destruction of the Blood Mist Mountains? Therefore, the news about the blood race was easily spread out. Luli didn't have the courage to attack the blood race in the minds of the insect race. That would make him an enemy of the insect race. Going against the insect race in the Chaotic Star region would only lead to a miserable death. The insect race's leader was a warrior at the peak of the blood race, and there were 4 warriors that were close to it. Luli didn't care about the blood race. As long as he could kill Blood Soul Jade and the others, it was only a matter of time before the blood race was wiped out. The price demanded by the insect race must be very high. Could the blood race afford such a high price for a long time? The key was to kill Blood Soul Jade and the others. 8 Saint Emperors and the 3 Freaks of Mountain made a total of 11. 4 at the later stage, 3 at the middle stage, and 4 at the initial stage. The most difficult to kill were the 4 at the later stage, especially the 3 Freaks of Mountain. Brother 6 of the Guan family had found out that the 3 of them once fought with a warrior that was close to the peak of the Azura race. The Azura race had so many powerful warriors, and yet they were defeated by them. It was not hard to imagine how strong the 3 were. Luli couldn't rely on himself, so he had to rely on external help. There were several ways. The simplest was to ask for help from a warrior that was very close to the peak of the Azura race. But how was Luli going to ask for help? Even if such a powerful warrior was willing to do it, he couldn't afford it. Another way was to use the Azura race. Luli knew Stealth and Blood Soul Jade and the others could track him all the way here. Therefore, as long as he could find a good place, he could use the Azura race's help. Another way was to make use of the dangerous terrain. For example, there might be a place with a powerful rune formation and he could use it to kill the Azura race. Either way, the first thing to do was to gather information. Luli was in a big universe. He went to the insect race's Chamber of Commerce directly. The insect race claimed that there was nothing they couldn't do. Apart from not getting involved in the war, they would do any kind of business provided that you had enough celestial stones. Luli spent a large number of celestial stones, and finally, he acquired a lot of information. The insect race provided him with the locations and information of 3 hidden races and 2 extremely dangerous places. Luli thought about it and finally decided to go to a place where a major race was located. It was said that there were powerful warriors that were infinitely close to the consummate realm in that place. Of course, it was also possible that this expert had already passed away because there had been no news of this expert for thousands of years. Gue clan, this was a very ancient race. Back then, it was also a great race that came from the 4th or 5th world. After descending, they originally wanted to dominate a realm, but they had a war with another great race. In the end, they were defeated and chose to go into hiding. Although this great race had been defeated, their foundation was still very deep, so they went into hiding and no other great race dared to attack them. There were only a few races that knew where they were hiding. The insect race was well versed in all kinds of information in the Tianwan galaxy. Myriad Sky Realm. This was a super universe, one of the top 10 in the Tianwan galaxy. It was a bit far away from here. Luli didn't care anymore. He wanted to settle this once and for all. Sneaking into the territory of the Gue race would be dangerous, but if he could trigger a war between the Gue race and Blood Soul Jade, then things would be much easier. Luli flew on the Holy Mountain. He was careful and would stop as soon as he sensed any fluctuation in space. Then he would come out and use stealth skill. Only when the nearby battleships or warriors were gone would he continue on his way. He flew like this for more than half a month before he finally arrived at the Myriad Sky Realm. Upon entering the myriad sky realm, Luli's first impression was that the realm was vast. The Xianqi in heaven and earth was rich. The larger the realm, the richer the Xianqi would be. Luli entered the city and teleported all the way. It took him more than 10 days to arrive near the Gue race. The Gue race was also located in a mountain range. For the people nearby, this mountain range was a dangerous place. The mountain range was filled with poisonous fog all year round. Average warriors would only face death if they dared to go in. Average warriors wouldn't dare to go in. All the powerful ones knew that this was the hiding place of the Gue race. They wouldn't spread the news that the Gue race was hiding here. Therefore, many young warriors in the Myriad Sky realm didn't know that there was an ancient race hiding in their own realm. This place, Luli wandered around a mountain range called Icy Poison Mountain. He frowned. If he were to hide here and Blood Soul Jade and the others arrived, they wouldn't have to look around to know that this was the hiding place of a major race. They had been tricked once. Blood Soul Jade and the others were not idiots. They wouldn't fall for it again. If he could not make them fight with the Gue race, then what was the point of coming here? I will have to hide outside. When they catch up, I will bring them into the mountain range. Luli thought for a while and came up with an idea. He would hide nearby. When Blood Soul Jade and the others caught up, he would run away at once and rush into this area. Only in this way could he trigger a fight between the Gue race and Blood Soul Jade. With a plan in place, Luli took actions. First of all, he must find out the situation in the Icy Poison Mountain. If he didn't find out and rashly went in, he might be killed by the Gue race before the fight between the Blood race and the Gue race began. Luli snuck in using stealth skill. At the same time, he asked Blood Fairy to check. He believed that there must be many runes in here. The fog was poisonous, but Luli could stand it. There were indeed many runes here. Most of them were hidden, and they were warning runes. There were also some formations of confusion, but they were small ones. Their ultimate purpose was to serve as warnings. With Blood Fairy here, the runes were non-obstacle. Luli went into the depth of the Icy Poison Mountain. Blood Fairy sensed that there was a huge valley in the depth and that there were many living beings in the valley. Master, there is a strong formation outside the valley. Blood Fairy sent a telepathic message after investigating for 2 hours. If we don't break these formations, we won't be able to harm the creatures inside. She said. Luli's original plan was to fly in with Blood Soul Jade and the others. Then, he would launch a round of attacks and leave through the teleportation formation. In this way, the Gue race would be enraged and fight against the powerful Blood race. If he could not attack, how could he start a war between the Blood race and the Gue race? What was the point of coming here if there was no war? Is it possible to break it without anyone noticing? Or, when I come with the powerful Blood race warriors, you can crack the formation. Then, I will launch a round of attacks, and you will run away with me. Luli asked. Blood Fairy answered after some thoughts. I will have to crack the formation quietly first. When the powerful Blood race warriors are here, I will crack the formation. You can launch a round of attacks, and then we will leave. Okay, let's do that. Luli waved his hand. Let's go out and make some arrangements. We must put on a good show. Otherwise, if the Blood race does not fall for the trap, our other preparations will be in vain. P.S. Take a day off and continue with the next 4 chapters tomorrow. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. Chapter 3129. After half a month of work, Luli made many arrangements. Then he began to cultivate in a mountain hundreds of thousands of miles away from the frigid Poison Mountain. He hid in the mountain for thousands of miles under the ground. There were many divine patterns on the mountain, some for defense, some for shielding, and some for maze. It seemed that he was trying to get rid of the pursuers with the help of the divine patterns. Another 10 days later, Blood Soul Jade arrived at the realm of emptiness and flew over. The 3 freaks of Leshan were famous. Many major races and old warriors paid close attention to their arrival. Some scouts came as well, trying to find out what they were doing in the realm of emptiness. It has been a long time since we last moved. Blood Soul Jade had been trying to sense the location of the blood seal. It had been a long time since Luli moved. The location and distance never changed. Blood Soul Jade was happy and worried at the same time. He was happy that he could catch up with Luli, but he was worried that Luli might have made some arrangements. He didn't want to start a fight with the Gooies for no reason like last time. Caution was the most important thing. When Blood Soul Jade arrived at the mountain where Luli was hiding, he sent a blood race to check if there were any major races hiding nearby. How could average warriors know that the Gooies were hiding in the frigid poison mountain? Only the family masters of several major races knew. Not even disciples of the blood race knew. Therefore, the blood race didn't find anything. He did find out that there was a mountain of frigid poison nearby, but he didn't pay much attention when he heard that it was just a poisonous mountain. For a group of sane emperors, regular poisons were nothing to them. Regular warriors could be poisoned to death, but not sane emperors. More importantly, he sensed that Luli was not in the frigid poison mountain, but in another mountain. There was nothing strange about that mountain, just some ferocious beasts. Let's go. When the patriarch came back, Blood Soul Jade sneaked up with a group of sane emperors. When they were close to the mountain, Blood Soul Jade waved his hand. All the saint emperors spread out and surrounded the mountain from all sides. There are divine patterns. Blood Soul Jade and the others were old warriors. They could tell that there were many divine patterns in the area where Luli was. Clearly, there were some that could isolate his chi and energy. The experts of the Blood Soul Jade and the Blood Race sneered. Could the aura of the Blood Seal be isolated? If it could be isolated, the Blood Race wouldn't have been so famous in the fourth heaven. As long as the blood mark wasn't removed, the vampires would be able to sense it no matter where they fled. Even if the mountain was connected to a secret realm, they could sense it and follow it into the secret realm to find Luli. Therefore, as far as they were concerned, it was a joke for Luli to think that he could use runes to block their detection. The group of Saint Emperors gathered above the cave Luli was in. They communicated with each other secretly and rushed down as fast as they could. This mountain was just an ordinary mountain. To them, the rocks on the mountain were no different from mud. It did not affect their speed at all. Luli, who was sitting on the ground, suddenly opened his eyes. There was a trace of panic on his face. Blood Soul Jade and the others saw this, and they were even more delighted. They would like to see how Luli was going to run this time. Luli didn't fly away. Instead, he stepped into a small teleportation formation on the side. After a white glare, the teleportation formation exploded. Luli disappeared into the bottom of the cave. One-way teleportation array? He can't have gone far. Go after him. The leader of the three freaks of Leshan understood immediately. Blood Soul Jade came to his senses as well. He shouted, "He is to the west, not far away. Go after him." Boom, 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 boom. The group of Saint Emperors rushed out of the mountain. Along with the rolling stones, 10 people went after Luli as fast as they could. They were so fast that in the time, for merely 7 or 8 breaths, they had all located Luli. Luli didn't flee on the holy mountain because the frigid poison mountain was not far away. He could reach there in the time for a dozen breaths, given his speed. In such a short time, the warriors behind him would not be able to catch up with him. They would catch up with him when he reached the frigid poison mountain. Therefore, there was no need to take out the holy mountain. Luli was running on his own, with 10 Saint Emperors chasing after him like 10 hungry wolves. At the front were the 3 freaks of Leshan and Blood Soul Jade. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. They wished they could cut Luli into pieces. Luli was only at the Emperor realm, but he was as fast as a warrior at the peak of the Emperor realm. His face was filled with fear and viciousness. He looked like a beast in a desperate situation. The more Luli looked like this, the happier the Saint Emperors were, and the more they wanted to tear Luli apart. They had wasted a lot of time chasing after Luli, especially the blood race. Luli had killed so many of their people. How could they vent their anger if they didn't tear Luli into pieces? They arrived at the frigid poison mountain. Luli rushed in a panic. The 3 freaks of Leshan followed him without any hesitation. The Blood Soul Jade scanned the area and frowned. He had a bad feeling. Was this a trap? The Saint Emperor of the Blood Race behind him was also a bit hesitant. They had gone to the frigid Poison Mountain to find out that it was a dangerous place. But Lu Li was running in this direction. Was there an ambush here? The problem was that the three freaks of Leshan had already gone in. What could Blood Soul Jade do? They could only follow him in. The three freaks of Leshan could see that something was wrong, but they were powerful and fearless. Even if there was something on the frigid Poison Mountain, they believed they could wipe it out with their abilities. I knew it. When the Blood Soul Jade discovered that there were countless divine inscriptions in front of them, as well as an extremely powerful defensive divine inscription within a mountain valley, his heart instantly trembled. He then shouted in a low voice, "Everyone, don't be rash. This place might be the residence of a hidden clan." Buzzing, as soon as Blood Soul Jade said that, the shield in the valley disappeared. Many castles were revealed. Blood Soul Jade also found that there were at least 100,000 residents in the valley. Swish, the halberd of Emperor Yong glowed in Lu Li's hand. He swung his halberd across. Many castles were smashed, and more than 1,000 of the Gue race lost their lives. Whoosh! Lu Li disappeared in midair after he swung his halberd. Then he stepped into a teleportation formation that had been set up. After a white glare, Lu Li disappeared on the spot, and the teleportation formation exploded. Blood Soul Jade and the Saint Emperors were dumbfounded. So were the three freaks of Leshan, especially when they sensed dozens of powerful chi and energy coming from the valley. They all pulled a long face. Lu Li's plan was perfect. One trick followed another. Blood Fairy and Lu Li cooperated well. As soon as they arrived, the shield was cracked. The Gue race had been living in seclusion. They never thought that there would be an invasion from the outside. Therefore, it was not until Lu Li's attack that many powerful warriors came to their senses. Whoosh, 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 when Blood Soul Jade and the others saw more than 30 Saint Emperors roaring into the sky, they all had the urge to cry. Lu Li was gone. They were like a pile of yellow mud in their pants. Even if they were not sh*t, they were still sh*t. Please remember the domain name of this book. Third Sect Leaders Mobile Version. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.